And a welcome into you here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Just a few minutes away from baseball here at historic Bosse Field. He's Bill McHugh, I'm Matthew Will, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball. And, last night it was, no other way to put it, it was a tough night offensively for Evansville. They could never really get anything going. They picked up a lot of hits. In fact, in the contest, Evansville finished with
8. We had eight hits. They had 9. We had 8.
Just one shy of Washington. The problem was they weren't putting up hits back to back or 2 or 3 at a time. Because of that, never really gave themselves a chance to win.
Yeah, well, the point was, too, you hear O'Reilly strikes out 7. He walked 4. But Foster, from them, he only struck out 4. So, and of course he walked 1. So, not only did they get us at the ballot box, they also got us at the plate.
Well, Washington obviously using a lot of strong pitching in this 2-game set thus far. They've had 2 performances that have been fun to watch. They've carved through the Otters pretty efficiently, and really the Otters have now proven that the 2 wins they have here in the last week have come because they were able to hook a lot of base hits together. I do want to say I thought Ryan O'Reilly was very good last night. Just 3 runs allowed and 8 innings of work. Though the 4 walks didn't really help him too much, the defense and his strikeouts really made the job a little easier for him.
Right. Well, the problem with the Otters last night was they didn't play Little League ball. That's your favorite, not your saying, of course mine, Little League. And so they didn't bunch up a couple of hits, a walk, a stolen base, and get a couple runs. The hardest hit ball was by Bierman, which I think was in the 7th inning, when it was dead center to center field, maybe 390 feet. That was probably the best hit the whole night for the Otters.
Well, with it, the Otters fell back into the 2nd position in the Frontier League West. Washington jumped back up to the top spot. We'll look through the rest of the Frontier League. Schaumburg, Gateway, Joliet, of course, still working around that middle pack. Lake Erie has gotten themselves up near as well. Windy City and Florence are bringing up the rear. Over on the other side, however, it is still Quebec up top, and they are expanding their lead 6.5 games over Ottawa in 2nd. And then it's a big bunch of teams from Sussex all the way down to New Jersey. Empire State bringing up the rear over there. Quite a few games in the Frontier League today, of course, as everyone is finishing their pre-All-Star schedule. This week we're going to get to see the best of the Frontier League converge on Washington, PA. I'm sure it's going to be a fun event for not only these guys to get to showcase themselves, but also interact with a lot of the other best players in this league.
Well, I tell you what, it's easy to get to Washington. All you got to do is fly into Pittsburgh, rent a car. It's only about 50 miles from Pittsburgh and Washington. Just go at one of those throughways. And heck, it's right off Interstate 70. So I know you're going to enjoy the little vacation you got from being away from baseball. You're entitled to it. These other guys, they're going to have fun at the All-Star game playing. We used to have Mike Rondowski, a broadcaster here for many years, and Joel and Bill Lee was a commissioner, and they'd always team up, the 3 of them, and they'd play in a golf tournament that the All-Star would have. Every year they won, and they cheated.
Yeah, Tuesday morning is what I've heard, at least, is the planned golf outing for all the All-Stars, and then Wednesday is the day that they will play in their game, and I'm excited to see the league as a whole get some good exposure from that. And then everybody gears up Thursday for a new series. The Otters are going to be at Sussex County in northern New Jersey there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before coming home and facing both the New York Boulders and Tri-City Valley Cats. And after that point, they will have faced all of the East Division, as well as the rest of the league gets to face everyone in the opposite division, get those interdivision games out of the way.
Well, it'll give you a chance to see the big city there in New Jersey. Find out all about the traffic, especially in North Jersey. That is where it's congested. You got one city of 50,000, and you walk across the street, there's another city, another 50,000. That's 100,000 people within a couple blocks.
Luckily, we shouldn't have to worry about that too much being in the tiny township of Sussex County. But it is going to be exciting to get to see another place throughout this Frontier League and kind of see the way that different fans interact with their different teams.
They're mean in Jersey. Mean, vicious. You get on the highway, they'll cut you off. Several years back, my wife and I and our grandson went back to Jersey. We're going down Jersey Shore, and a couple cars cut me off and different things. And my grandson said, "Grandpa, they have no respect for older people." He didn't want to call me a senior citizen. I was just older people.
Well, there is some rain in the area today. It's been raining here almost all day long. So here's what it looks like now. There is rain coming this way. It looks like anytime from 6 to 8, it could be spotty, but from 8 o'clock on, it is going to be downpouring here for most of the night. So there's a timetable. They've got to get this in. They're probably going to have to play through some light rain at first. We're going to see how much of this game we can get in. And, you know, of course, for us, we hope that Evansville finds themselves on the favorable side if this game happens to get called early.
Well, I want to tell you something, partner. I'm not going to be here at 8 o'clock. 7:30, I got to get out of here. I got to be home before dark. You know, those state troopers are waiting for me in those country roads to get those senior citizens they can't see, they can't hear, they have no teeth, no hair.
As per usual, the Otters will be one of the final games kicking off here on this Sunday. A couple games already in the book. Quebec defeats Ottawa on the road 6-5 in extra innings. The Capitals have now won 12 straight games.
Oh, yeah.
And have expanded their lead there in the East Division to now 7.5.
Is that the longest winning streak? The Otters had, 9 at one time?
9. That's the longest one this year in the league.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and Quebec now leading the second-place team in the East by 7.5 games.
Wow, that's a nice cushion.
They have put themselves up quite a bit. The Trois-Rivières Eagles to finish off their first half of the season with a 22-4 win over Empire State. Florence was up 4-1 hosting Joliet today, but in the third inning, the game was suspended and postponed due to rain. They will make up that game in a few weeks when they meet once again and pick up in the third inning as they are right now. The New Jersey Jackals defeated Tri-City 7-6. They're in New Jersey, a good win for the Jackals yet again. They just got finished in Chicago with the Lake Erie Crushers defeating the Windy City Thunderbolts 3-1. Of course, our game about to get started here, and then Schaumburg and Gateway will finish off their 3-game set about 10 or 15 minutes after we kick off. Watch out there. Schaumburg's won 2 of 3. That's a very good Boomers team that is right on the Otters' tail.
Yep.
Just now beginning to get the meeting at home plate as we look to kick off this game. Want to kind of give you a sneak peek of the two guys you're going to see on the mound this evening. For Washington, it's going to be Darren Osby. Osby's 2-3 on the year in his 8 starts, a 5.40 ERA. In the grand scheme of things, I guess you could say Osby is the one starter for this Washington team that struggled a little bit. But for the grand scheme, this is a very good pitching staff on Washington's side, and the Otters are going to have to work very hard yet again. As for the Otters, they are going to have Austin Gossman on the mound, concluding his pre-All-Star activities. Gossman is an All-Star and will be participating on Wednesday night there in Washington. Gossman has a 4-2 record entering today. In his 9 starts, he's got a 2.62 ERA with 51 strikeouts to his name. Austin Gossman has been very good. In fact, Austin Gossman's last time out was at Schaumburg, a 9-inning complete game for him. Yet again, it feels like we've said this every single night. This game has a lot of makings to be a lot of fun, the way it's been just like these last 2 nights. They've concluded their meeting at the mound, or at the plate, and with that, we will say goodbye for just a couple of minutes as they sing the national anthem, introduce the starting lineups, and right after that, we've got first pitch here from historic Bosse Field as the Wild Things and Otters conclude their pre-All-Star festivities. Don't go anywhere. First pitch is next. And it's time for baseball here from historic Bosse Field as the Washington Wild Things and Evansville Otters conclude their 3-game set here in rainy Evansville. I want to remind you before we get any further that Evansville Otters baseball here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Working Distributors Evansville. And without further ado, let's introduce you to the all-star himself and former USI Screaming Eagle, Austin Gossman, with a 4-2 record this year in 9 starts. He's got a .262 ERA, 51 strikeouts to his name. Gossman's been very good in the last few weeks, and he's going to look to keep it up against a very good club in Washington.
Well, he was a pretty good pitcher last year as well. And let's hope he is 5-2 after today's game.
The second-year Otter is on the mound with Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Here's the men he'll face on the Washington Wild Things side. Center fielder Cole Brannon will kick things off at the top of the order, followed by Scotty DeBrule and Wagner Lagrange. Andrew Check, Nick Ward, and Ian Walters round out the middle 3 for Washington before Jared Mang, Chris Issei, and Nico Pacheco round out the lineup for Washington. Little different look. We're going to see Cole Brannon at the top of the order. He was near the bottom the last 2 nights, but he's a consistent bat, and more importantly, he is very quick around the bases.
Well, as you often point out, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, if you count this switch hitter, that's 6. 6 left-hand batters Grossman's going to be facing.
Well, Gossman has himself ready. They've tossed the pitch around, and we are ready for the first pitch of this one.
You know, just a note of information. The man that I think was leading the league when he came in here, Mr. Ward, who was the leadoff hitter, is batting whatever down the line now. He's lost. He's no longer up there as number 1 or number 2. I noticed he's number 3.
Cole Brandon's ready at the plate. Austin Gossman pitching out of the stretch today. And the first pitch is coming home at 5:07 for ball 1. Again, Gossman, not a guy who's going to use the windup hardly at all. Mostly a stretch pitcher. A 1-0. Crank towards the right side. Armstrong will play it on 3 hops over to first in time for out number 1.
Mr. Brendan got down that line pretty fast.
You can almost rely on him to always be doing that indeed. Without further ado, let's introduce you to the defensive alignment for the Otters this evening. Baez, Gordon, Mcmahony, left to right across the outfield. In the infield, it's J.R. Davis at third, George Khalil at short, Andy Armstrong at second, and Steven Sinsley at first. Once again, Justin Felix behind the plate. First pitch to Scotty DeBrule. It's a called strike on the outside edge. The men that are in charge of keeping this game civil today, Mike Fitcher behind the plate, Ty Unthank, the third base umpire, and Mike Weinstein, the one on the right side of the infield.
You know, a note of
0-1 sent chopping towards Armstrong. Long run. He's able to make the play. The first, is it in
safe,
time?
Safe.
Just in time
he got
for out
him.
number 2.
Wow. Wow, that's why you need Armstrong out there. But I was about to say anyway, Matthew, last night on my way home with my son driving us, all my wife talked about was the ball player getting thrown out. And then going to church this morning with my son-in-law, again, she repeated it. So that ball player that threw the helmet and the bat last night that got thrown out, that's all my wife could talk about.
First pitch to Wagner Lagrange. Called strike on the low inside corner.
And I think it was a bad call, but he was wrong in the actions he took.
With that ground out, it's the first time in this 3-game set the Otters have been able to put down the first 2 Wild Things in order in the game. The 0-1 to Lagrange. He fouls it off of his ankle. It's right back up to Gossman. And Gossman has himself potentially 1 pitch away from ending this first inning Boy, would that be a breath of fresh air after this
Oh,
weekend.
yeah. Did you ever watch gymnastics? And you get points for different things. I'm going to give Armstrong a 8 for that play last batter.
Well, I think the most impressive part of that play was he had to guess where Sinsley was going to end up, because Sinsley went over to try to play that ball, turned around and saw that Gossman was not there yet to make the run to first, so he had to get back over. There was a lot of what ifs on that play, and they made it all look pretty simple.
Well, Armstrong had that pivot in the air, fielding it, doing a twirl, pivot, and throwing the thing out. I mean, that is good baseball.
An 0-2 to Wagner Lagrange on the way home from Austin Gossman. Bounces in for ball one. That pitch looked really good. It didn't die until right when it got to the plate.
Yep.
But Lagrange is able to keep himself disciplined at the plate. Lagrange all year has found a way to be fairly disciplined. 17 walks on his season, 33 strikeouts. So Gossman's going to try again, this time on the 1-2 to try to end the half inning.
That's
swinging strike three out of the glove of Felix. It will not matter. We've played through one half. 3 up, 3 down for Austin Gossman and the Otters. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Austin Gossman and the Otters, 3 up, 3 down. First time all series that they've been able to start the game that way. That's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I think last night you were talking about the first batter. We always got out that inning, but the second one always got on. So, as you say, refreshing.
Well, there is the starter tonight for the Washington Wild Things, the righty, Darren Osby, who stands 6'4" up there at the top. Stone Mountain, Georgia, the hometown. That's quite the place to be from. Stone Mountain.
Yeah, I wonder where that is. I'm thinking there's something like that. Well, the Interstate 40, I believe.
Osby is.
And they have a wonderful church that you can get off the highway and visit. And would you believe I got off the highway to visit the church, and they told me, "Oh, you can't go into the chapel." I didn't have a coat and tie.
Well, Osby is making his 9th start. He's got a 2-3 record, 5.40 ERA. He is the one on the mounds. Behind the plate is Pacheco. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Just so you're kind of up to date with what we know, it is sprinkling out there. Ming, Brandon, Lagrange, left to right across the outfield for Washington.
Oh.
Walters, Usay, DeBrule, and Scheck across the infield. First pitch to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon, is a called strike on the outside edge. Doesn't look like it's coming down too hard right now, but there is some coming down. An 0-1 works outside, and the count's evened up. Want to walk you through the starting lineup for the Otters this evening. Gordon, Davis, Bierman lead off yet again tonight. They'll be followed by Baez, Sinsley, and Mcmahony in the middle three before George Khalil, Justin Felix, and Andy Armstrong round out the order. A 1-1 to Gordon. Pushed out towards mid-deep, actually shallow left field. In fact, it's going to be Walters who makes the catch on the back of the infield for out number 1. So 1 out, or 1 pitch, 1 out. A good start for the Wild Things. They'll now welcome the third baseman, J.R. Davis, to the plate.
Batting second, third baseman number 2, J.R. Davis.
J.R. Davis has had a good stretch of baseball recently. Unfortunately for him, though, went 1 for 4 last night. First pitch home. Stays low and inside for ball 1. I spent some time today going through a couple of the Otters' career stats. Again, just kind of refreshing myself. J.R. Davis, could not believe he's playing in his 438th game.
Really?
He has clocked a lot of baseball throughout the years. Of course, he played in the Seattle affiliation and the St. Louis affiliation after he was drafted by St. Louis.
Oh.
468 hits in his career. A 2-0 is chased and swung on for strike 1, and he immediately turns back and says, "That wasn't a strike, was it?"
Wait, I'm going to repeat myself all year. If you got to stretch, lean across the plate and stretch as far as you can and swing, that's not a strike.
The 2-1 towards Davis. He lifts it up towards right field, but it's going to stay shallow and foul, where it looks like Check is going to be able to bring it in for out number 2.
Am I looking wrong down that right field line? Looks like a few puddles.
Just a couple, yeah.
On the line.
Yeah, on the line.
Yeah.
Batting third, designated hitter, 45, Zach Bierman.
So as of now, of course, it's the only third batter, but the Otters haven't gotten a ball out of the infield.
This is true. Neither have the Wild Things
Yes.
in that matter. First pitch to Bierman. Stays a bit low and inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Zach didn't go after that. He's been going punching at that first pitch no matter where it's at. At least he stayed off this one.
He's back in the count 1-0, and it's on the way. Ooh, beautiful pitch there. Caught the outside edge and even the count up.
I don't know what it was. It was a breaking pitch. I don't know, slider or what, but it didn't have that much bite to it, but it had enough.
The 1-0 to Zach Bierman. Zoomed out towards right field, down for a base hit. And the Otters will find the hit column first in this one.
As a low over the middle of the plate, he gave it the golf swing. You know, he executes that swing pretty good, Zach Bierman.
Well, and part of, I think, what helps him is just the sheer strength he has.
Yes.
And speaking of just sheer strength, Jeffrey Baez on his way to the plate now. 2 outs, runner on, an opportunity to keep the inning going. This is a good test in the first inning for the Otters to, unlike the last couple of nights, put a couple of hits together, make themselves a quality stretch here. Baez ready for the first pitch, and Osby sends it his way. Stays a bit low and inside for ball 1.
It's going to be interesting to see how many off-speed pitches they throw to Baez.
They started off with a fastball down and in.
Right, but again, that might have been just the feeder.
Just to get his timing off.
Yep.
They'll try again now on a 1-0 for Jeffrey Baez. Another fastball low and in.
Of course, when you throw that off-speed change or curve, whatever, that allows the base runner an extra step or two.
Bierman, usually a guy you only need to worry about stealing if there's also a runner at second. They like to execute the double steal. A 2-0 for Jeffrey Baez. Hefty swing, and they brought the off speed and got him ahead of one.
Right, 79, and he was way out in front, which is what his problem has been.
Well,
and that was a good call. 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah. That was a good
I'm sure
pitch.
if they had one of those for dummies books, a pitching for dummies book, I'm sure it would say, give him the fastball a couple times, then take the off speed, and he'll be way out in front of it.
There's
Back-to-back
another one.
pitches.
Come back the same play. 79.
Good work on the mound from Darren Osby to even the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner at first. exactly what he needed to do to help shut the Otters down, but they're not shut down yet. Baez has a chance with 2-2. Low and outside, a good stop by Pacheco behind the plate.
Now, he gave him 2 off-speed pitches and got 2 strikes. And he comes back with a hard curveball. So now we've got a 3-2, 2 outs, and the runner will be going.
It really opens the playbook here on what you can throw in the 3-2.
Now, I would come back with an off-speed. That's my opinion.
Osby sends it home. Called strike 3 really late there from the home plate umpire, Mike Fitcher. And it's a big smile from Baez afterwards. He'll head back to the dugout. We've played through 1. Otters get the first hit of the game, but we're still scoreless from Evansville. To the top of the second inning we go. Andrew Check, Nick Ward, and Ian Walters due up for the Wild Things. Still scoreless from historic Bossy Field. Evansville gets an opportunity, but can't do anything with it.
And this is the man that killed the Otters last night with that double with the bases loaded. 2 RBIs. That's all they needed.
The second-year Wild Thing. Andrew Check ready at the plate. Awesome Gossman kicks and delivers. A first pitch strike on the outside edge. Defense is playing straight up all the way around for Andrew Check. Gossman has the sign. He's ready to throw home. And here it comes. Outside, left alone for ball 1. You know, Andrew Check's left his mark on both of the 2 games thus far. Last night, of course, his base hit was the one that eventually was the game winner. And back on Friday, he had a wonderful diving catch over there at first.
Oh, yes.
That had it got past, could have given the Otters an even bigger buffer. 1-1 to Check. Stays high.
Did he make an outstanding play on Armstrong's shot down the first base line that could have been a double as well?
Yeah. Check looking at a 2-1 now, leading off this second inning for Washington. Long wait for Gossman before the 2-1 is fouled back towards the backstop with the count evened up at 2-2. Despite the rain, a quality crowd on hand today here at historic Bossy Field, celebrating a dog days of summer and the conclusion of the pre-All-Star break schedule. Otters will be back in just over a week from Tuesday, in fact, as they host the New York Boulders.
Tuesday? They'll be back Tuesday?
A week from Tuesday.
Yeah, but Taco Tuesday?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, boy.
A 2-2 to Andrew Check. Stays up high for ball 3.
I talked to the the director of the foods here, and I told him, I said, I want a dozen superior tacos delivered room service here.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to come try out the brand new Supreme Tacos this year, they're delightful, and you can get them on Taco Tuesdays only at the ballpark. So do it a week from this Tuesday. Get your tickets at EvansvilleOtters.com. 3-2, stand right back up the middle, off the glove of Gossman. Going to have to be a tough play for Armstrong. He makes it anyway, though.
Not for the human vacuum cleaner out there.
Takes a very weird hop, and because of it, Armstrong had to change direction significantly on the run.
Yep.
But like so many other times, he made it look really easy.
So that will go 1 to 4 to 3.
Number 5, Ward.
Nick Ward now at the plate. He has been the leadoff hitter for a couple of nights, and he is still holding on to the third best batting average in the Frontier League,
Right.
officially a 369.
The Otters have held this guy in check.
Well,
And
I think that's
I
why
don't mean
the
the
game.
check that just went out.
I mean that's why yesterday's game was as close as it was.
Yeah.
Because I think that third inning, when Washington scored their 2 runs, had Ward not gotten out that first out, could have been a much different story.
Wasn't that the pop up to third base?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he just got underneath.
Right.
Had he barreled up, it could have been a definitely bigger ball game.
Right.
0-1 for Ward. Sent towards Khalil. He'll play it on one tiny hop over to first for out number 2. That means that Ward is now 0 for his last 8 at-bats in this series.
I was going to say he probably got 1 or 2 at the most hits.
He started off with back-to-back hits,
right.
and ever since
Double and the single.
has
That's
not.
right. Yeah, opening night, he hasn't gotten a hit since, I don't believe.
Nope.
Which means good pitching, good defense by the Otters, yes.
Ian Walters now, the third baseman, making his way to the plate. Walters last night struck out his first 2 times up, then walked and recorded a sacrifice bunt. That sacrifice bunt led to a RBI single that was just an insurance run at that point.
Now, I'm going to ask a stupid question, if there is such a thing. I want to watch the All-Star game. Who, what channel, or how do I go about it? Because I can't tune in to Evansville Otters. They're not broadcasting it.
Yeah, it'll be on Flow Sports like all the rest of the Otters games are, but it'll be listed under Frontier League as opposed to under the Evansville Otters.
So in other words, still go under Evansville Otters and you pick it up.
Should be there, yeah.
Okay.
As long as you get to the Frontier League tab of Flow Sports,
Okay.
which is where all of the Otters stuff is located, you'll be good.
And the Washington broadcasting would be the people that would be.
Yeah, Kyle Dawson, the play-by-play man there at Washington, will be the lead man, and then I believe a bunch of different broadcasters will hop on with him throughout the game as well.
Okay.
Ball's fouled off the ankle for Walters to send his count to 2-1. Yeah,
Well,
normally Kyle would have made the trip with this Washington team, and he would be here today, but of course with all their all-star preparations, he is getting things set up for that. So we're glad that if you're a Washington fan, you're tuning into our broadcast. Just know that I'm sure Kyle is getting things ready to go for a wonderful all-star break. I'm very upset I can't make it, but I'm going to spend some time with my family instead this time.
Well, that's true. Family comes first.
2-1 the count to Ian Walters with 2 outs here in the top of the second. Austin Gossman kicks and delivers. Big curveball never really broke down inside.
What is it? I think it's God, family, and country. I think that's the way it goes.
Hefty wind blowing basically straight out to left field from home plate as it continues to dribble rain down. A 3-1 on its way home to Ian Walters. Zoomed out to right field. Both Gordon and Mcmahony are chasing towards it, looking up, and Mcmahony brings it in for out number 3. 6 up, 6 down for Washington thus far. We head to the bottom half of the second. Still scoreless from Evansville. Bottom of the second inning on a dog days of summer here at historic Bosse Field. A couple of four-legged friends joining us here at the ballpark as we look to close out the pre-All-Star game schedule. It's also a nice time to be able to take a look back at this unofficial first half of the season and really admire what the Otters have done. A lot of positive things in this long stretch. A couple of hefty winning streaks, including a 9-game winning streak that tied a team record. A lot of positive things to look at when you look back on this first half of the year.
I'll agree with you, and the Otters ought to be pleased with themselves to be where they are with so many changes they've made. And but thank God they've had outstanding pitching. If it wasn't for those starting pitchers, I don't think the Otters would be where they are now.
Well, and if you wanted to measure how good a pitching staff has been, they've had 3 pitchers taken to the next level since the season started. That says a lot about.
And how many pitchers that made the All-Star? 2.
3 now.
3.
Yeah.
3 All-Star. Yeah. So 3 went to franchise baseball and 3 made the All-Star.
Yeah. You'll take it.
Not bad, yes.
Steven Sinsley, the first baseman this evening, kicks off the second inning for the Otters. First pitch strike, and then a second pitch ball on the outside edge to even his count up. So yeah, the next time we all join here at historic Bosse Field will not be this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, as the Otters welcome the New York Boulders to town for the first and only time this year. Then they will conclude that 6-game homestand with the Tri-City Valley Cats, the first and only time this year. Ball sent sharply towards the shortstop. Issei plays it on the backhand over to first. What a play. Chris, Issei made that look really simple out there.
I tell you can't hit him any harder than that ground ball, but that shortstop's got a pretty good arm. You know, you were talking about Taco Tuesday, and that's when the Otters come back. I noticed the Taco Man is now selling hot dogs. He's moonlighting. He's probably double dipping.
I've heard he might be triple dipping on a Thirsty Thursday. We'll have to wait to see in a couple of weeks.
I never thought of that.
First pitch home is a called strike 1 on Elijah Mcmahony. He was the man to keep an eye on last night. 3 for 4 with 3 singles. A great way to come back after a tough Friday night.
And I'm thinking I got mixed up with, okay, Big Mac is at the plate, but I'm looking at the third baseman and I'm saying, Mac, look at the third baseman. I mean, if Armstrong was at bat, I bet he'd lay one down.
Right fielder Elijah Mcmahony looking at an 0-2 count. Pitch on the way towards him. High inside. He's caught swinging and missing for a strikeout for out number 2. And that will bring up the Australian shortstop, George Khalil. In last night's game, Khalil reached just 1 of his 4 times. It was a walk.
You know, you got to appreciate this man. The more you watch him play short, the more you appreciate how good he is.
The Otters have been blessed with 2 extraordinary inside infielders.
Yeah.
Honestly,
middle line.
Yeah, middle infielders. And honestly, if either 2 had a batting average anywhere near 300, they would be getting a ton of attention.
Oh, yeah.
An inside pitch is a called strike 2 for Khalil, and he's down 0-2 in the count.
It's a shame. A lot of times your great defense is overlooked because of your bat. And then you take a guy that has a good bat, and he's terrible in the field, and he gets all the recognition.
George Khalil ready on the 0-2. And he fouls that one off towards the Otters dugout. Keeps himself alive.
I was talking to my son-in-law about that particular thing, and as a scout, when you report it to your scouting director on a prospect, you'd say, like, he's a Don Baylor type of outfielder. Well, everyone knew what Don Baylor was. He was a great offensive player, but he stunk defensively.
The 0-2 to Khalil. A half swing. They checked down, and they didn't get anything. Right. Now they say, no, he did not go around, so it's ball 1.
So your scouting director back wherever you're working for would know, hey, this guy's a good hitter, but maybe we need defense in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
A 1-2 to George Khalil. Big curve on the inside corner, catches him swinging. It's back-to-back strikeouts to end the 2nd inning for Washington. We've played through 2, still looking for a run at Bosse Field. We head to the top of the third inning, and Evansville is looking to ride the strong start from Austin Gossman through another couple of innings. So far, it's 6 up, 6 down for Washington. Just 1 strikeout for Gossman, but the rest of them have been really manageable ground balls outside of the 1 fly ball in the second.
Well, makes no difference. Fly ball, ground ball, strikeout. Just keep the game moving.
Final warm-up pitch on the way now, and we're ready to go with Jared Mang, Chris Issei, and Nico Pacheco as the 3 due up for Washington, the 7, 8, 9 hitters.
Leading off, batting 7th in left field, 21, Jared May.
Jared Mang, the left fielder, last night earned a very hard-earned single in his first at-bat. He fouled off, I believe, 6 pitches on a 3-2 count before getting that base hit to left.
You know, and I noticed the individual not in the lineup tonight is Alvarez. Is that a 1-game suspension as well as a fine?
That I have no idea of. I know he's not in the lineup, and I know he wasn't listed on the lineup card, but I don't know if there was a specific suspension handed out or not. First pitch in for a low ball 1.
I think Armstrong got called out on a similar play later and just walked away. And he didn't display thrown bat, thrown hat, helmet.
A 1-0 to Mang. Outside, looked like Gossman slipped a little bit as he immediately looked down and is now readjusting his landing zone.
Yeah.
And it's possible the little bits of rain we have been getting, that's starting to affect that a little, might see Otters GM Travis Painter come running out at the next half inning and pound down a little extra sand. A 2-0, way inside. Did it hit him on the elbow pad? Yes, it did.
Hit him.
Jared Mang is going to lead off the third on a hit by pitch.
And he had one of those arm guards on to protect him. Yet everybody's running over to say, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Oh, George." Be an Oriole. Just go to first base.
They'll take a look at Jared Mang, make sure everything's good to go after the hit by pitch that started off the third inning here. First base runner of the night for the Wild Things. He's going to be followed by Chris Issei, the shortstop this evening. Though Issei played a couple of nights ago as the second baseman, picked up 3 hits on Friday night, an RBI double, a second double, and then a single as well. Sign coming from the third base coach and manager, Tom Vape, over there on the left side as Chris Issei steps in. A glance over to first, where Jared Mang has himself a good lead. The first pitch comes home for a called strike 1 at the knees. Good way to open that at-bat. Attack the strike zone right away.
Well, he didn't, manager didn't give many signs down there. I'm just saying he was just going through a few like you're supposed to, but nothing important.
The 0-1 to Issei. Swinging strike 2 on the outside edge.
Let's see.
Good work from Gossman on back-to-back pitches to start off this count with a couple of strikes. Now, just look to see if he can finish it off. Otters are playing in double play positioning. And now the 0-2 comes home. Push to the left side will stay foul, however. Washington, of course, heading home to host the All-Star game this week.
I know I was saying to my son-in-law and wife coming home from church that if the game was to be called, they'd call it early because that's still a long ride for these guys here, about a good 8 hours.
The 0-2 for Chris Issei with no outs and a runner on first. Bounces in for ball one. Good stop for Felix.
Every time we go to Jersey, back to Jersey, we have to go through Washington on Interstate 70, and I'll tell you, that is a long drive.
The Wild Things are going to kick off their second half of the season with all three Canadian teams. They have to go north of the border to face at Trois-Rivières and at Ottawa before coming home to face the Quebec Capitals in about a week and a half. 1-2, there goes the runner. It's a swinging strike three. The throw down in time, and it falls out of the glove of Khalil. Just about a strike him out, throw him out. The ball just escapes the glove of Khalil.
It is a German-American Bank strikeout.
It'll be good for the second strikeout of the game for Austin Gossman. Both of them German-American Bank strikeouts. Mang is going to be safe at second, and Nico Pacheco heads to the plate.
You know, I know you keep records, so you're always bragging about it on the internet here. And you say, Felix has thrown out 30 out of 40 men going to second. Well, he just threw that man out, but he's safe because Big George dropped the ball. So now how do you record that? You don't get an error.
Ball sent sharply down the right field line, but just foul, maybe 3 or 4 feet.
You're not going to give George an error, but he's got a stolen base, but yet he was thrown out.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate ones that'll end up going as a stolen base against both the pitcher and catcher.
Right, exactly. So Felix is penalized, really, on that particular play. Throw out, but not counted.
Oh, 1 the count for Nico Pacheco with 1 out and 1 on. Gossman has the sign up from his catcher Felix. The 0-1. Sent sharply to the left side. Waiting on it is Davis. He'll play it into the glove. The throw over to first. A nice scoop from Sinsley for out number 2. Well, Davis had to wait a long time for that ball to finally come down into his glove, as it took quite a hop on its way towards him.
Yeah, but give Sinsley a little credit for scooping that in the dirt. JR, every time JR throws the ball from, no matter whether he's playing second base or third base, he's got to take a little skip before he throws. But if you notice on that particular play, he kind of eased it. He didn't give it that hard throw. He just kind of lobbed it. And thank God Sinsley picked it up out of the dirt.
We head to the top of the order where Cole Brannon gets his second opportunity of the day. First pitch
like
in is a called strike 1 on the low inside corner.
I was going to say that looked like a strike.
Brannon grounded out to Andy Armstrong his first time up. That'll be a little bit of a wait before the 0-1 for Brannon. Got to be careful. If you let Brannon get himself towards base, he is very quick. 0-1 hit sharply out towards right field. Long run for Mcmahony. A dive. Did he bring it in? Yes, he did.
He caught it.
My goodness. Another wonderful play from Elijah Mcmahony, the former Mississippi State guy. And we head to the bottom half of the third. Still
I thought
scoreless.
he was Superman flying in the air. I mean, he left his feet. He must have traveled 3 to 4 feet in a headward position. I don't know. It's just unbelievable.
Before we go any further, we want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Budweiser, the king of beers. Due up in this half inning for the Otters, we're going to see Felix, Armstrong, and Gordon. The three of them hoping to.
What's the question here with the umpire and the two managers getting together? And wouldn't be because of the rain, would it?
Hard to tell. It's the second straight inning that McCauley said something to the home plate umpire, Mike Fitcher, and then they've gone over and talked with the head man of Washington, Tom Faith. It's hard to tell exactly what it was. Both managers look frustrated after the chat, whatever it is.
Well, the umpire's still talking to Andy going down, and Andy is getting to say, oh, what the heck. So whatever it is, the umpire's not paying attention. But if anything, bring out Travis to throw a little of that dry stuff on home plate and on the pitcher's mound.
Well, now Faith comes out and has a quick word with the home plate umpire with the scorecard out. So I'm not sure if there was maybe a number issue or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of hard to tell. But at least right now it looks like everything's ready to go for the bottom of the third inning. Still communicating down there are Faith and Fitcher. It looks like Darren Osby's ready to go on the mound.
Assistant GM Josh Wilson is here at the ballpark tonight.
Well, whatever it is, I guess it must be important because that's a long conversation. Now he's calling the catcher in, so what the heck is going on?
Well, now we have another catcher popping up, so I wonder if...
Wait a minute, new catcher?
Well, it's now Landon Barnes behind the plate. Hard to tell exactly why that could be.
Maybe that's why they were delaying the game, so he could go and get his catching gear on.
23, Landon Barnes.
Well, it's Landon Barnes now catching for Washington. They'll go up there and chat.
Nico would be the next batter if he's coming up in the next inning.
Well, at least right now, a new catcher in the ballgame. The new pitcher-catcher battery is Osby on the mound, Barnes behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Zane from the Otters sent you.
Okay, Justin's going to lead us off in the third inning.
Felix, Armstrong, and Gordon due up in the half inning for Evansville. Certainly looking to kind of have something go their way.
Just to Felix.
A little bit of a wait as Felix hops in the box now. The first pitch to him is sent foul right back over the seating area here for a swinging foul ball, strike one.
And the catcher just turned around to the umpire and said, I'm so-and-so. Glad to meet you.
Defense is set up straight up all the way around for these Wild Things as the 0-1 comes home for a swinging strike two.
You know, I played a few years in baseball, Matt, and I don't ever remember introducing these to the umpires. I mean, they're not my teammates, so why should I say hello?
Well, now it's almost it's a thing as a players growing up in youth ball, they're taught that every time they step onto the baseball field, they should introduce themselves to every set of umpires they have.
Well, I noticed the umpire on first base. He was out there in right field, and he just waited. And then all of a sudden, here comes Big Hit Mac running in, shakes his hands, and they both go on their own way. But that umpire waited for Big Mac to come and shake his hands.
A 1-2 swung on and missed by Felix for a strikeout, the 4th of the game for Osby, the 3rd in a row. That'll bring up the second baseman, Andy Armstrong, who's looking to keep hold of what's been a pretty good stretch of ball for it.
Second baseman number 8,
Had 2 hits in his game Friday night, a couple of singles. First pitch home is inside for ball 1. Of course, tonight a big night for baseball. The MLB Draft starts in just a few minutes, actually, right about 6 o'clock this time.
Oh, is that when it starts?
Yeah, tonight. So it's possible in the next few weeks we start to see some of the individuals who aren't drafted or picked up by some of the higher leagues start to fizzle down towards this Frontier League. We might see some new faces here in this league in a few weeks.
You know, years ago when I was active in scouting and I used to attend those draft meetings, we used to start them at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And it was a big thing to get in the entire first round, and then we'd all go for lunch. That's when the commissioners say, okay, come back at 1 o'clock and we'll restart. And but that's when we had like 30, 40, or 50 drafts in those days.
The 2-1 towards Armstrong. He shows bunt. It goes sky high back towards the dugout of Washington, but it will end up on the roof.
You know, I'll tell you a secret, Matthew. You know, a lot of times we'd find a good prospect and you say that you're going to draft him and sign him if he will. And the college coach, oh, no, don't do that, don't do that. And so I would draft different kids that had no scholarship ability. And what I was doing was offering a lot of kids a scholarship, because the minute the college coaches saw the kids were drafted, they called the kid up and say, oh, we'll give you a scholarship. They wouldn't have gotten that scholarship if they weren't drafted. So a lot of times I drafted kids simply to get them scholarships. If the college coaches wanted to backfire on us, we'd do the same thing to them.
A low pitch is swung on and missed by Armstrong. The throw down to first is in time on the drop third strike. Make it 4 straight strikeouts now for Darren Osby, and he's got 5 on the day. Back to the top of the order, and the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game.
Edward Jones leadoff.
Miles Gordon makes his way to the plate.
Number 6, Miles Gordon.
Miles Gordon, guilty of the pop out his first time.
You know, I'm looking at today's statistics, and as of today, before today's game,
First pitch to Gordon, zoomed down the right field line, just foul.
the Otters had struck out 519 times. Yet, he only walked 188 times. That's like 3 times strikeouts compared to walks. And so far tonight, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 strikeouts tonight.
The 0-1 towards Miles Gordon. A half swing, and it's left alone for ball 1.
And what were we talking about? The Otters haven't scored in the last 12, 13 innings?
12 innings, yeah. 13 if this last out's recorded.
Yeah.
The 1-1. A half swing again. That one's a swinging strike. So the count falls to 1-2. The 1-2 for Miles Gordon. And here it comes. Bounces in for ball 2. And the deuces are wild. A little bit of frustration for the Otters here at this point of the game. Just trying to find some consistency, as are Washington, I'm sure.
Well, where's our big power that we were coasting early in the season with home run after home run, 2, 3 home runs in a game? Now I don't know when the last time we got a home run.
The 2-2 is called strike 3 on the outside edge. Striking out the side is Darren Osby. We've played 3 fulls, still scoreless here in Evansville. We head to the middle third of this game now. And due up in the half inning will be Scotty Dubrul, Wagner Lagrange, and Andrew Chet. So far through this one, there's only been 2 base runners, one on either side. Kind of exactly the way you'd hope this 3-game set ends. 2 really strong teams proving it on a Sunday evening.
Well, I think the secret so far in this series has been the starting pitching. I think that has been the secret. We have got, whether it's Washington or the Otters, the pitching, starting pitching has been good.
Well, Scotty Dubrul is going to look to kick off this 4th inning for Washington. He grounded off the glove of Gossman and then into the glove of Armstrong his first time up. Armstrong really had to make a tough play. First pitch home, sent sharply down the right field line, but just foul.
You often mention that that will be on the top 10 fielding plays for the Frontier League or something. I've never seen that. What is that?
Well, it's been a couple weeks since I've seen them actually released, but they release them on the Frontier League page's YouTube page and on their social medias once a week.
Well, you know, I'm back to I'm not too good with this internet stuff, YouTubes and this and that. And I'm back to Alexander Bell with the telephone and the radio.
The 0-2 count on Scotty Dubrul. And now it's on the way home.
Strike 3.
They check down, say no, he did not, for ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes now for Scotty Dubrul. Otters are playing straight up all the way around defensively. Gossman kicks and delivers on a 1-2. Just misses the inside edge. Could have been a called strike 3.
I tell you, the last 3 pitches could have went either way, strike or ball. Of course, they didn't go our way, of course.
Just evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dubrul ready at the plate. The 2-2 he sends towards Armstrong. He plays it into the chest. The throw to first is in time for out number 1 to kick off the 4th inning. So it's the right fielder, Wagner Lagrange, who will hope to be the one now. With 1 out, nobody on at the 4th. He struck out his first time up.
Wagner Lagrange.
You know, the 9 outs so far. I shouldn't say there's 9 outs. There isn't 9 outs. There's 7 outs.
First pitch home on the inside edge for a called strike
Let me
1.
get my homework done.
Austin Gossman doing work well here in the opening stages of this game. Allowed just one base runner, and that was a hit by pitch. The 0-1 lifted out towards right field, but it's going to go well foul. The count will go to 0-2.
What I was trying to say was, out of the 10 outs so far for the Wild Things, Armstrong has made 4 of those ground ball outs. Recorded 4 of those.
Oh, 2 the count for Wagner Lagrange. Really taking his time is Austin Gossman. Fires home on the 0-2. It bounces in for ball 1. And in all seriousness, that's probably the furthest pitch from the zone so far for Gossman. He's been very spot on so far in this game.
Yes.
He's proven why he was selected as an all-star.
He was selected by the coaches, right?
I believe so, yeah. The 1-2. Sent on the ground to the left side. Picked up by Khalil on 2 hops. The throw to first gets there in time. That's out number 2. Stop me if you've heard this before. Andy Armstrong and George Khalil are throwing runners out.
28.
Once again, the Otter infield shows its ability to help their pitcher. You got 2 all-stars in George at short and Armstrong at second. They're all-stars.
A little bit of a wait for Gossman as he nods home towards his catcher, Justin Felix.
And coming to the plate is Checkmate.
Andrew Check. First pitch is high and outside ball 1.
Isn't that a chess? Frederick, Checkmate.
Rain does continue to come down now. As the 1-0 fires home towards Check.
That's a strike.
He lifts the arms up, but it's a called strike on the high inside corner. Good work there from Gossman to do a little bit of outside-inside work on those 2 pitches.
Yeah, now you say you could see the rain. I can't. I'm blind.
Just a little bit, they kind of just look like white pixels appearing on the screen even.
Okay.
It's not coming down too hard, but it is indeed coming down once again. The 1-1, a half swing. They check on him, say no, he did not.
Now I got it great. I didn't think he swung.
And the count expands to 2-1.
I think if he opens up those hips, that's when you're going to call it a strike. Never mind the half a swing. Watch the hips.
Chet could very seriously find himself in the top 10 in the league in batting average by the end of the day. The 2-1 sent sharply towards Armstrong. He charges in at the ball. Off 2 hops. The throw to first will end the inning. And 3 groundouts is all the Wild Things see in the 4th. We head to the bottom of the half of the 4th. Still scoreless from Boston. Well, we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Still sitting pretty in this one. Austin Gossman relies on his defense. What do you know? 2 Armstrong plays and a Khalil play get him out of the inning.
I know it. Good defense, but the Otters offense better start coming alive.
Well, this is a good place for it to get started in. Davis, Bierman, and Baez due up here in the top order.
I mean, we're going into what, the 14th inning without scoring.
First pitch home to Davis. Big curveball. Oh, I thought it caught the zone.
That's the equivalent of close to 2 full games. Or 2 7-inning games anyway.
1-0 on the way home to J.R. Davis. A half swing, and it won't matter. It's a called strike.
Did I see J.R. go down to his knees looking at that pitch?
Yeah, he checked his swing, and instead of letting his hips continued around, the bat stayed, and because of that, his knee hit the ground.
Okay.
He checked the swing successfully, but it was a called strike, so it didn't matter. Next ball comes in for ball 2, and he's ahead in the count 2-1. Defense straight up all the way around for J.R. Davis. But has a 2-1 headed his way. Zooms to the shortstop, Issei, who plays it off the side, and as he tries to pick it up, it falls out of the hand. And J.R. Davis is going to kick off the half inning, getting on base.
Official now.
That'll bring up now Zach Bierman with a runner on.
Okay, and Bierman's the only one that's got the only hit in the game today so far.
I tell you what, it goes in the book as an error for Issei there at short. The initial play is a hard play to make.
Oh,
that came at him quickly, but I think it was the fact that he kind of looked up to make the throw before he had grabbed the ball. That second effort that failed was certainly the error. That's a hard play to make, though.
Oh, yes, I'll agree with you. And then he tried to hurry it up and fumbled it again.
First pitch to Bierman, stays low and inside for ball 1.
Yeah. I think that's the pitch that, a little more over the plate, that Zach got his last base hit from. It was a low golfing swing, and he really ripped it.
Davis has to be careful over there. A lot of mud around first base. You don't want to get caught out there because your feet get stuck. Yeah. And every time we see him kind of get all the mud off of his cleats there on first base.
Well, last night we had a runner picked off first base, and that more or less killed our rally. How much we would have benefited. In fact, didn't the next batter get a base hit?
The 1-0. A half swing from Bierman is successful for ball 2.
Yeah, we got a few people out there in the patio deck there sitting under their umbrellas. So it'd be nice if Bierman could give them something to cheer about by letting them scramble for a home run ball.
A 2-0 towards Bierman. This one sent foul back towards the parking lot on the left side for strike 1.
I think I was telling you that the therapist lady that was taking care of me was here one day, and she said she got 2 home run balls. Now, that was something sitting out there in the patio deck for one person to get 2 home run balls.
They're going to go check on the runner over there. For a patio deck, yeah, you might get a souvenir baseball out there via a home run from Zach Bierman, but what I can tell you for sure you get is unlimited soft drinks and water, as well as a all-you-can-eat menu featuring hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, brats. It's a great place to take out the friends and family or even the coworkers. Just give our front office a call and they can book it for you. 2-1 to Bierman. He lifts it out towards left field. Mang's actually going to chase in a long way. Settles underneath for out number 1. He had to move a long way to pick up that ball. That'll bring up Jeffrey Baez with 1 on and 1 out.
Left fielder, 33, Jeffrey Baez.
Baez so far on the day is 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking on a full count pitch. This is where the Otters have to find something. Can't get a leadoff man on and then have back-to-back outs that just strand him out there.
Baez has got 46 strikeouts so far this year.
First pitch to Baez is well outside for ball 1. he starts ahead in the count.
So depending on how many times he's been to the plate, whatever. Anyway, it'd be nice if he could stride into one and hit it over the Budway sign.
The 1-0 count is just fouled through for strike one, went back towards the netting. He finds his count evened up. While the Otters don't play here again until next Tuesday night, they continue their regular season on Friday night at Sussex County. They're in New Jersey. You can catch those games for free on the Otters Digital Network, audio only there. I'll have the call for you all 3 nights from Sussex County. A 1-1 is on the way home to Jeffrey Baez. Pushes one to the right side, down for a base hit with a broken bat. Rounding second's going to be J.R. Davis. Finally getting to the ball is LaGrange, and it's a single that moves the runner to third. A huge opportunity for the Otters here. There went some more wood for the fireplace for you. It's your new lumber at Me House Lumber. First baseman Steven Sinsley is going to stride towards the plate. Runners at the corners, 1 out. This is a chance the Otters have to take because, well, Bill, this could be the only run we see all day.
It's a great opportunity, the first opportunity we've had. Other than that, you had Bierman's base hit was the only runner we had.
Well, you just need Sinsley to stride into a ball well because a sac fly scores the run.
Yep.
They finally have given themselves a chance with a runner in scoring position with just 1 out. Every time they did it yesterday, there was already 2 outs. Glance over to first, where Baez has a healthy lead as the first pitch comes home to Sinsley.
Strike.
It's a called strike one near the knees, maybe just above the knees.
Yeah, we can't have anybody picked off any base.
Got to give yourself the best possible opportunity to bring in this, what could be a game-winning run with the way these two have played all week. The 0-1. Sinsley pushes it to the right side, right at DeBrule, to second for 1, to first. Not in time, and the run scores. Steven Sinsley hustles out of the box, and because of it, is able to score a run on the fielder's choice.
And let's give a little credit to Baez going into second base trying to break up that double play. He didn't, but yet he caused enough confusion that the shortstop kind of hesitated, allowing Sinsley to get down at first base safely.
Well, the Otters take the lead in the game with a RBI fielder's choice from Steven Sinsley. Big hit Mac. Elijah Mcmahony makes his way to the plate now. The former Mississippi State man had fans in attendance this weekend. You might have heard all of the raging Mississippi State cowbells down there this weekend. First pitch to Mcmahony's outside, ball 1.
You know, I've noticed, not only recently, but we did it in the 84 World Series even, is the catchers, when they want an outside pitch, they really bring their whole body. And it ends up, yeah, they get it there, but it's a ball. See where he's working the outside? See?
1-0 to McNamee, and it stays outside, ball 2.
Right. He got the pitcher threw the ball where the catcher wanted it, but the catcher shouldn't go that far over. All you got to do is put your glove there and say, here's where I want it. And Terry Kennedy with the Padres. And I told Dick Williams, our manager, he said, oh, tell our catching coach. I told our catching coach, and he said, oh. And then finally,
2-0 is pushed towards the right side. Well fouled to get out of play.
Finally, one New York broadcasters, a former catcher, mentioned it. And I called Dick Williams. I said, yeah, don't believe me. I'm a minor leaguer. But a former major league catcher said the same thing. Oh, then we changed. But, you know, that's a secret society, those major leaguers. You're a minor leaguer, played AAA, tough luck, buddy. You never played the big show.
2 on the count for Elijah McNamee. Pushes one towards left field, but it's going to curve towards the corner and end up well foul and then take a mighty bounce into left field.
You know, I guess it's like an actor being off Broadway in some of those productions. As long as you don't play the big show, you're not recognized.
Elijah Mcmahony at the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first, trying to extend this successful 4th inning for the Otters. Well, they've already taken a lead. Sinsley gives himself a little lead over there at first. They're not really holding him too close. And here comes the 2-2. Mcnamee puts it towards short. On 2 hops, it's picked up and tossed to second for the first out that they need. And that will do it for the 4th, not before Evansville takes a lead on an RBI fielder's choice from Steven Sinsley. We've played 4. Otters lead by 1. To the top of the 5th we go. Evansville has themselves a lead on an RBI fielder's choice from Steven Sinsley. Not enough has been said by you or I about that play. Steven Sinsley made that RBI happen by hustling out of the box quickly. Baez helps out up there at second. But if Sinsley does not get down to first as quickly as he does, it's a double play that ends the inning.
Yeah, and it was close. You're right. You're right. You know, that's the name of the game, whether you play football, basketball, or what. Hustle.
Well, I would not be surprised at all if that's the game-winning run.
I hope it is.
I mean,
I hope it is.
With so many factors today, whether it be the weather or these 2 great starting pitchers or just these 2 offenses struggling to find traction.
Well, let's look. Today is Sunday. Let's look at Friday night. We won 6-2, I believe. Last night we lost 3-0. So we got 6 runs in 2 games. They've got 5 runs in 2 games. Here we are in the 5th inning. The Otters have scored 1. The other team hasn't. So both teams haven't scored that much.
Well, in a year that the Frontier League has seen so many very high-scoring games, it's good to see this kind of baseball between the division's top 2 squads.
Yes, I agree with you. But then again, the fans in the stands are looking for balls going into the patio.
Let's put it this way. It proves that these 2 teams have very solid starting pitching.
Yes,
and that's
defense.
been proven. Yeah. 0-2 to Nick Ward to lead off this 5th inning. Gossman sends it home, and it stays a bit high for ball 1.
Who was it? Their shortstop made a play last night. It was unbelievable, too.
It's this man at the plate now, Nick Ward, who's the DH this evening. One-two, the count to Nick Ward. As the pitch comes home, way inside, ball 2. Defense is set up straight up all the way around for Nick Ward. As the 2-2 makes its way, it's fouled back off his leg, and he'll live to see another pitch. Good work at the plate for Ward.
You know, I like his style at the plate. I'm sitting studying him, his swing and all. I could understand why he's batting 300. He's a good example of what you should be doing when you're a batter. Look at his position. He's got a real good position there.
2-2 the count to Nick Ward as the pitch comes home. Zoomed out towards center field. Gordon won't have to hardly move at all. And he'll grab it for out number 1.
I think Gordon was a little hesitant on that. He didn't know how to play it. Should he run in or should he just stay there? And he did take that 1 or 2 steps in, and that's it.
Walters.
So that will bring up Ian Walters, who on the day is 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. He was the first one to actually make solid contact on the day for Washington. First pitch to him is low and inside, and they say yes, he did go for a swinging strike 1. That's an unfortunate one for him. I thought he was able to hold up, but not quite.
Well, the home plate umpire wasn't sure, so he called down there for help.
And the eyes of the Frontier League are on just this game right now. The only one being played as Schaumburg and Gateway are in a rain delay. 0-1. Beautiful pitch for called strike 2.
Schaumburg and who?
Schaumburg and Gateway. They started their game in a delay, have not begun yet.
And where's the game at?
At Gateway.
At Gateway.
Just a few hours away from here, yes. So right now, Otters and Wild Things, the only game taking place, and it's only 30, 40 minutes before this one could be in the same fate. A lot of rain moving this way quickly. The 0-2 to Walters. Bounces in. Oh my, watch out in the dugout of Washington. That one bounced all the way in there. 1-2 the count.
Now, I can't believe that ricocheted as far and as hard as it did off Felix's glove.
It bounced off the ground, then the glove, and all of that. That was,
Yeah.
had a lot to it. Gossman looking for a payoff pitch on a 1-2 count. It's on the way. Swinging strike 3. That's good for the 3rd German-American Bank strikeout for Austin Gossman.
Congratulations, fans, for that strikeout by Walters.
That's a big one to get.
I'll say one more out and it's an official game. Then let the rains come.
Then we'll just have to play it all by ear at that point.
Of course, the
We had that time, yeah.
The last time we were praying for a situation just like this, yes. The other team scored 2 or 3 runs and we ended up losing, yes.
Jared Mang at the plate this time. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Got him on his elbow pad.
We got our rain, but not when we wanted it.
Gossman fires home. Stays outside ball 1.
And remember, fans, your favorite Hoosier Lottery games are available at retailers statewide.
On the season for Austin Gossman, he's kind of had an up and down. A couple of games that didn't favor him as well, but his last time up at Schaumburg, 1 run allowed on 9 hits in 9 full innings. It was wonderful to watch. The 1-0. Ball's in for a called strike 1. Gossman was a first-year pro last year and was 6th in the Frontier League in strikeouts with 101. But the win-loss didn't really go his way. Won his 2 first professional starts before losing his next 7 official results. But he didn't really let that phase him. Got out to this year and is off to a good stretch.
Well, again, you and I have talked about it.
1-1 sent sharply towards Davis. He plays it off the ground and kind of got ate up by the dirt. The throw's going to be late.
You and I have talked about statistics is nice, but there's things you got to look at. Maybe the score was in his favor when they took him out.
And now the trainer, Mandy Flagg, is running out towards Davis. He immediately grabbing at his left wrist. He landed really hard, and that's why it took him so long to get the throw over to first. And they're going to check things out over there. It was a hard landing. It was great to see him make the grab, but he did land weird on that left arm, shoulder area. Regardless, it is going to be an infield base hit, and that ends the no-hit bid for Austin Gossman. Impressive to see him go almost 5 full innings.
I did not want to mention it until you just said. Yes, that's
I'll be honest. I didn't even realize it.
Oh, I did. I've been watching up there, and I'm saying, how much longer? How much longer? But that's one worry off his back. Here comes Stock.
Just checking on him, especially it looks like that left shoulder, and I think they're good to go. As both Mandy Flagg and Annie McCauley make the run back, and Doc Martin's going to have to hustle back with them now.
Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen Doc run.
Everyone getting involved with a Sunday evening workout here from Bosse Field.
Yeah.
And Doc gets back to the dugout, and the guys are applauding him. Well, it's good to see Davis is back up and good. We'll keep an eye on that shoulder. Davis was an all-star nominee, but was not selected, so he does get a few days off to be good to go for Sussex County next week. So Chris Issei now makes his way to the plate. Struck out his first time up. The only two people to get on base are both named Jared Mang. Once on a hit by pitch, once on a single. Nobody else on this Washington lineup has been able to make its first. First pitch to Issei, high and outside, ball one.
Yeah, some of the players are going to have 2 or 3 days off to go swimming, picnicking, stay late and sleeping in bed. And that's all great. But then again, those that made it, they were hustling from one activity to another. I'd rather be hustling from one activity to another.
A 1-0 to Issei. Just grazes outside for ball two. And I'm sure if you hung out here all week long at Bosse Field, you'd see some of the guys out here every time there's a road trip. If there's individuals who don't go with the team, they're here every day throwing. Yeah. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of the Otters spending time here, maybe in the cages, maybe throwing with a partner.
Well, when I coached, the 2 years that I coached here, I never went on the road trips. I stayed home. And, yes, I used to throw batting practice every day to the those players that didn't make the trip. I would throw batting practice.
But I'm sure the players will enjoy to have a couple of days just to kind of reset, get ready for the back half. A 2-1 coming home. It's a swinging strike two that's fouled over towards the Otters dugout. You know, Evansville's in a good place. Even with a loss tonight, they find themselves 2 games out of first in a great position. These are good days to sit back, regroup, be ready to go. You've got 3 series against the East Division to start things off and keep pushing towards those playoffs.
Well, approach every game as a must-win. And if you lose, you put it in your back pocket, you lock it, it's history.
2-2 to Issei. On the way, stays a bit low and the count's full.
Yeah, 2 outs, 2 runners. Runners on first. 3-2 count, 2 outs. He'll be running.
In all seriousness, you win 2 out of every 3 games. Win every series, or at least just about every series, and you're going to find yourself in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Chris Issei with a runner at first and 2 outs. It all comes down to this pitch for Gossman. On the way, swinging strike 3. And it's another German-American Bank strikeout that ends the 5th inning. We head to the bottom half of 5. Evansville leads by 1. Well, we're at the Center Point Energy center point of the game. Evansville leading 1-0. For those that are asking about potential rain scenarios, this game is now technically could be considered a full game. If we were to have rain last long enough that they would think about calling the game, they can at this point. Of course, Evansville would probably be happy with an insurance run or 2 as we continue through this one. Also want to say, or at least note, that as the MLB draft goes on tonight, Kumar Rocker has just been picked 3rd overall by the Texas Rangers. He spent about a month and a half with the Tri-City Valley Cats here in the Frontier League earlier this season. He got his first professional win against the Empire State Grays, and now he's going to get his second try at the majors after declining to sign last year. George Khalil, the Australian shortstop, ready to lead off this 5th inning. He'll be followed by Felix and Armstrong, 3 sneaky guys that could all get on base if they're given the right opportunity.
You know, my son-in-law was talking this morning about some kid turned down $500,000 to sign with some major league team. $500,000 and you turned it down?
Well, I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but Kumar Rocker, who I just mentioned, last year was the 10th overall pick by the Mets, and he turned it down. Was a great pitcher out of Vanderbilt, and that's why he pitched in the Frontier League at the beginning of this season for a little time. And
instead of pitching in AA, AAA's in Frontier.
And now he's just gotten picked up 3rd overall, so I guess he got what he wanted, you could say. 1-1 shot towards left center field, down for extra bases. There goes Khalil towards second. He's probably going to be happy with 2. Rounds the corners and then returns back. The outfielders were playing him in.
Yeah.
That is a bashed ball to left field.
That's what the others needed. They start the inning off with a double. Got a couple chances now to bring in that runner. You know, just let me finish up on what we're talking about. Where is anyone going to give you $1 million and you've never played the game? I mean, you never made the majors. If you went to work for General Electric, IBM, they're not going to give you $1 million. So why not take the $1 million and go to college on your own?
Quick meeting at the bump here for these Wild Things as they've given up a leadoff double to George Khalil with Felix and Armstrong following. Now, of course, Felix didn't play last night. It was Devin Buckner behind the plate. But Felix on Friday night was 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. But he had 2 singles, a double, and reached on a fielder's choice. It was a good night at the plate for Felix, one that he really needed.
Well,
now Felix will make his way to the plate.
What we need is for Felix, Justin, just hit it to second base. Get it over to the right side of the infield so that George could get to third base uncontested. Then a wild pitch, fly ball could bring him in.
Felix ready at the plate. The first pitch of this at-bat, runner at second, no outs. First pitch he sees zooms down the left field line, but foul. Solid contact. He was just a little bit ahead.
That must have been fouled by quite a bit because I seen the left fielder took 1 or 2 steps and kind of said, that's out of my range.
Well, it started off the bat really well and then took a hard left turn because Felix right away, too, put his head down and turned around. So good to see the Otters have back-to-back opportunities with at least solid contact.
Oh, yeah.
Else.
Well, again, 13, 14 innings without scoring. They were hungry.
The 0-1 to Justin Felix. Skies this one in the infield. Chasing in is Walters from third. He parks underneath it and finally does bring it in and then rushes back over to cover third base. So that'll bring up the second baseman, Andy Armstrong, with a runner on and 1 out.
Second baseman, number 8, Andy Armstrong.
And if you happen to just be listening on our audio only and didn't get to see the great play by Elijah Mcmahony out there in right field, pop up onto both our social medias, Facebook and Twitter, and you can catch a video of it. First pitch to Armstrong. Catches the inside edge for a called strike 1.
Well, just to go over that play, The last time I saw someone make that play was Bo Jackson making a similar catch in Fenway Park. You got to be an outstanding athlete to do those things.
The 0-1 to Armstrong. Pushed out towards right field. LaGrange thinks he has a play on it. He brings it in for out number 2, and Khalil will not advance. So a quick 2 outs after the leadoff double have put a little pressure on Miles Gordon.
Edward Jones.
Gordon, Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, is going to head to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day, but he's got a chance with a runner at second and 2 outs.
This has been the Otters' problem for the last couple of weeks, hasn't it? They're getting them in on base, but not bringing them home.
Big chance for Miles Gordon. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Looked close.
You got to give this guy Osby. He's pitching a pretty good game. So you got 2 fine pitchers out there today, Gossman and Osby.
One of the count, and time is taken. Rain's starting to come down a little bit heavier now. This is the point from about here on out. This is where the rain's going to be pretty consistent for the next couple hours.
It's coming down a little harder.
A little bit harder now, yeah. A half swing results in ball 2 on the inside edge. Well, this is the only game you're going to see for the rest of the day in the Frontier League. Grizzlies just announced that their game has been postponed and will be made up as a doubleheader when they face the Boomers in August. So it's just us finishing out the first half of the season here in the Frontier League.
What an honor.
And a solid game to do it with, too. 1-0 in favor of the Otters, and Miles Gordon out to a large lead in the count. 3-0 with 2 outs and a runner on second. Certainly feels like this is an opportunity for a huge insurance run that could mean a lot in the later stages of this game.
Just get a base hit, and hopefully...
you hope you don't need the run.
Right.
Called strike on the outside edge. Looked close to where ball 1 was, but it'll count as strike 1 this time.
Well, let's say, we've said it before, runs are hard to come by in this series.
Miles Gordon readies himself there at the plate. 3-1 the count for him. A runner at second and 2 outs. The 3-1 lifted high towards shallow center. Chasing in is Brennan. Issei drops back and brings it in for out number 3. Otters strand a leadoff double at second. We've played through 5. Evansville leads 1-0. To the top of the 6th inning we go, where the rain continues to fall here at historic Bosse Field. The Otters continue to lead here at Bosse Field, but boy, was that a close opportunity for them there in that last half inning, but they just were unable to do anything with it. George Khalil hits a strong leadoff double. One of the first times we've seen Evansville get a leadoff hit in a while, and they just strand him out there.
Yeah, well, again, that's been the history of the Otters in the last couple of weeks, getting a lot of men in scoring position, but you're leaving them stranded.
First pitch
Strike.
is
No
a
strike.
swinging
Yeah, darn
strike
right.
one, courtesy of the first base umpire, Mike Weinstein. They're playing.
Didn't last night we have one of our players get a triple and we left him stranded at third base?
Yeah. 0-1 is very weakly sent back up the middle. Gossman picks it up. The throw over to first is scooped up in time for out number 1. That one looked like it just slipped out of his hands a little bit.
I don't know. He didn't want to overthrow it, but thank God that first baseman's got a good glove down there.
Center fielder, number 1, Cole Brannon.
So now Cole Brannon, the leadoff man for Washington, heads back to the plate. Brannon is 0 for 2 with a ground out to second and a fly out to right thus far. Brannon is a guy that you got to be careful in a scenario like this. Third baseman playing so far back. He is very quick out of the box and likes to drop down bunts occasionally. First pitch, and he shows bunt there.
Yeah,
In comes Davis.
you called it. You know it.
Well, he got us yesterday. Snuck one down and earned himself a base hit, so got to be careful for it here.
Well, you see, now you're awake and you knew that. JR down there at third base better move in a little more. Never mind where you're playing.
The 0-1 to Cole Brannon now with 1 out and nobody on. No bunt this time. Instead, it's ball 1 on the outside edge.
You know, that's the game of baseball, what you just called. You got to recall what the batter did the last time up or the time before that.
1-1, the pitch from Austin Gossman.
Strike.
And it's a called strike 2 on the high edge of the zone, just underneath the elbows.
You know, maybe I should be an umpire. I've been doing a good job calling these strikes.
Austin Gossman trying to pick up his 5th German American Bank strikeout. He could do it here on the 1-2. He kicks and delivers. Stays low and inside. The count evens up at 2-2. The thing that I think you and I have both mentioned a couple of times is we're impressed that Gossman has maybe missed way outside once. But other than that, everything's been very close and challenging to these batters.
He's been around the plate all day. You're right. In other words, in essence,
2-2 swinging, strike 3, make it 5 German American Bank strikeouts for Washington.
German American Bank strikeouts.
what you said, in
Second
essence,
baseman,
was he's got good
Number 4,
command.
Scotty Dubrule.
Scotty Dubrule, the 2-hole hitter, has 2 groundouts, both to Armstrong at second so far. A little bit of a wait before his first pitch as Gossman resets his feet up there on the mound. Gossman, not a guy who pitches out of the windup, mostly just stretch for him. First pitch home, it's shown bunt and called a swinging strike by the third base umpire, Ty Unthing.
I don't know where that was a questionable thing. I thought he jabbed at it. That should have been a strike automatically.
Well, the third base umpire was emphatic about his call,
Third
so he
baseman,
knew for sure. Good on Justin Felix to appeal down there. So the count instead is 0-1 for Scotty Dubrule. Pitch comes home, and it stays a bit inside for ball 1. Count evened up.
You know, listen, the home plate umpire was watching where the pitch was and not watching where the bat was. Whatever, thank God for the third base umpire.
1-1 the count for Scotty Dubrule. Pitch headed home. right back up the middle. No one's going to get to that one. It is a 2-out base hit for the Wild Things, just their second one of the day. And with it, DeBrule becomes the first player not named Jared Mang to get himself on
Right
base.
fielder 6, Wagner Lagrange.
Wagner Lagrange now at the plate, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out.
Well, we don't have to worry about the sun today.
Not at all. Lagrange still waiting on his first pitch. Gossman has his sign and fires home.
Strike.
It's a called strike on the inside edge.
Now, is it still raining? I can't see.
Radar says so. Once they cut back to center field, I'll be able to tell a little bit more. It's hard to see from up here. It does look like it is still drilling some rain down as we speak. An 0-1 to Lagrange. Sent weakly to the left side, and it ended up being foul off the hand of Lagrange.
You know, for a day like it is today with the possible rain, it's not a bad crowd out here today.
Yeah, very good. Our friends from Astound had ticket vouchers available that also got you a free, I believe, hot dog, chips, and water
Oh,
at
really?
the ballpark as well. They'll do it again in a couple weeks on a Senior Connection Wednesday.
Oh, boy.
One of, I believe, 5 Astound days here at Bossy Field. The 0-2, outside ball 1.
Now, I saw that sign, Astound. It mentions internet. Now, are they an internet carrier?
Yeah, so WOW Internet, in the area, the company WOW was rebranded or rebought and
Right,
are now
right.
Astound.
Right. Now you reminded me. Yes, okay. Now I recall.
Austin Gossman trying to close out this inning. A 1-2 pitch with 2 outs here in the 6th.
Strike 3.
Just barely fouled back into the dirt by Lagrange. Good work to keep himself alive.
Yeah, no, I was interested because I'm out there in the country. We got ewes. And thank God we got ewes. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had any. But they're kind of, every time they want to give you a better speed, they want more money.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Wagner Lagrange. There's 2 outs and a runner at first. Austin Gossman has been exceptional in this game. See if he can close this half inning out here. Try again on the 1-2. It's pulled to the left side foul. Will end up in the bullpen of the Wild Things.
Oh, they're all excited down there. That Washington bullpen getting up there. Who wants to fight for that ball? So that one guy was laying down in the mud, I guess. Well, not mud, but
Looked like he was in
so
the middle of
brass.
stretches. Yeah. Gossman getting ready to throw his 76th pitch just underneath a 2/3 average of strikes to walk or strikes to balls. Hit sharply to the left side, played out of the glove of Davis. It got just underneath them and advancing towards third with a heads-up play is DeBrule. Great base running there from DeBrule.
Base hitter.
Tough play there for
Base
J.R.
hit.
Davis as it just got
First
underneath
baseman,
them.
28, Andrew Check.
So now Andrew Check will make his way to the plate. 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs to the second baseman, Andy Armstrong. This time with 2 outs and runners at first and third. Austin Gossman just looking to kind of work himself out of this scenario here.
I thought it was an easy third out, but that thing could come back to haunt us. That runner on third now is a tying run.
DeBrule with a huge heads-up play there to keep an eye on where the people
he
are.
never stopped.
No.
Because JR went out into short, left third base completely unoccupied.
First pitch to Check. Low and inside ball 1.
Now, even if Grossman did go over and cover third, there wouldn't have been a play anyway because he had third base stolen.
It just got off the glove just right with Khalil running over to try to make the play as well. There was no one there to really get to the ball quickly. A 1-0 to check. Skied out towards left field. Baez will run a little bit back and a little bit to his left and then bring it in just barely for out number 3. We've played through 5.5. Otters still holding on to a 1-0 lead. Well, we're ready to go at the bottom of the 6th inning. We do have an official score in. It's an error.
I thought it should have been an error, but again, you and I are not the official score.
But luckily for the Otters, it will not come back to haunt them. That's the first time all game the Washingtons had 2 men on, and it was a great opportunity for them. Could be one we're talking about at the end of this.
I hope so.
J.R. Davis now will look to make up on the stat book for his error and start off the bottom half of the 6th right for the Otters. So far in the day, Davis is 0 for 1. Sorry, 0 for 2. Fouled out once and also reached on an error. He came around to score the, right now, game-winning run. The 0-1 towards Davis. Lifted the bat up and swung through a strike 2.
I'm going to say he saw that. That must have been as big as a grapefruit because he chased that way over his head.
Davis takes his time to step back in. Ready on the 0-2. Osby will send it there, and it stays low and outside for ball 1. Hard to believe we're already at the All-Star break. This is the final game of the Frontier League's first half.
The hot dog man's trying to get the crowd excited.
The 1-2 stays inside and evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I tell you what, he is something. He is a great, great asset to the Otters. I tell you what, he performs well.
Stepping off for a second is Darren Osby. Now he's ready to go on the 2-2. Way inside. Wonder if it caught Davis. It doesn't look like it. It's ball 3.
Well, you know, that's a good chance to just drop the bat and go into first base and let the umpire decide I didn't get hit.
Well, he turned over and tapped his stomach and said, that one hit me, and the umpire said, no.
I tell you, I used to pull that a lot. I just automatically go to first and say, hey, wait, I was hit. And sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you don't.
Instead, he's going to look at a 3-2 here, leading off the bottom of the 6th for the Otters. Payoff pitch. Put out towards right field, shallow right field. Check is dropping back, and he brings it in right before he hits the mud for out number 1.
You know, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever. All you got to do is take a chance and do something and let the umpires decide, or the referees, whatever it may be.
Designated hitter number 45, Zach Bierman.
So with one out, nobody on, Zach Bierman makes his way to the plate. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a hard hit single in the first, and then a fly out to left his last time up. First pitch to Bierman. A half swing, and it's ball 1.
A little too low. And Bierman has it outside of last night, that long fly ball to right center. He hasn't been hitting too many long balls.
1-0 the pitch to Zach Bierman. Outside for ball 2. Zach Bierman playing outfield in the All-Star game this week for the Frontier League's West Division squad.
I was so happy he made it because, you know, he played first. He plays left field. He's a DH. He has no position.
The 2-0 is just fouled back into the netting.
And I thought that was something going against him as far as selectee. You know, he had no position. How do you? And there was no such thing as a utility man, I don't believe, right? So I'm happy Bierman got it.
The 2-1 for Zach Bierman. Lifted high and fouled to the left side. Will get out of play. The count evens up 2-2.
By X Construction. Choose the best. Never regret it.
Bierman steps back in. Ready for the 2-2 with nobody on and 1 out. Otters just looking for insurance at this rate. Shaking off a couple of pitches is Osby. Now he has the one he wants. The 2-2 just misses high. Ball 3.
He's done a yeoman job, whether he wins or loses, or Gossman wins or loses. Both of them have pitched exceptionally well today.
The 3-2 is lifted up towards left center field. Chasing back is Brannon towards the left center field area, and he brought it in easily for out number 2.
Well, that was at least a 350, 360-foot drive, which again, last night he hit one well to right center, tonight left center. Okay, that's all we're asking. Make contact, make good contact.
So with two out and nobody on, Jeffrey Baez is going to make his way to the plate. On the evening, Jeffrey Baez 1 for 2, a single back in the 4th, a strikeout back in the 1st. First option in the 6th is blown away, ball 1. Defense set up straight up all the way around for him. A 1-0 for Baez. Again, stays low. This one good for ball 2. At least for the time being, the rain has slowed a little bit.
I'm glad you got good eyes, Matthew.
2-0 to Baez. This one finally a called strike on the low inside corner. Darren Osby trying to carry the Wild Things through these crucial 5th, 6th, 7th innings. A 2-1. Again stays low, and Baez is ahead 3-1 in the count.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an off-speed curveball about 75 miles an hour, and Jeffrey chases it.
The 3-1 to Jeffrey Baez.
Yep.
Just catches the outside edge. The count goes to full. Thought that was a good take for Baez. Just caught a little too much zone. So Osby will take a couple extra seconds to ready himself up on the bump. Baez trying to extend the half inning for the Otters. They're holding on to a 1-0 lead. Payoff pitch. Swinging strike 3, and that'll end the inning. We've played through 6. Evansville holding on to a 1-0 advantage here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Back third of this game coming at you next. To the top of the 7th we go. Nick Ward, Ian Walters, and Jared Mang due up for the Washington Wild Things, as the Otters are currently holding on to a 1-0 advantage. The exact game we expected after these first 2. Started off with offense on Friday night, a little less last night, even less tonight.
You know, here's Mr. Ward. We're talking about his big number 3 batting is the third batter in the league. But look up there, 15 home runs. He don't have the body for 15 home runs.
A 1-0 is swung on and missed.
Well, they used to say, don't judge a book by its cover. Now, I would never take this guy for a home run hitter. You look at him and you look at Baez. Baez got 10 home runs.
Nick Ward has the 7th most in the league.
Yeah.
A 1-1 for Nick Ward on the way from Gossman. Crushed down the right field line, but foul. Really solid hit there from Ward. Drake Nightingale comes to the rescue out of the Otters bullpen to go grab that ball out of foul territory. And we're ready to continue play. 1-2 the count to Nick Ward. Austin Gossman is searching for his 6th German American Bank strikeout on the day. He could get it right here. The 1-2. Oh, just missed on the high outside corner. Very good pitch there. Maybe just a bit too far outside, as Felix did have to bring it in a little bit. The 2-2 to Nick Ward with bases empty and no outs in the 7th inning. Push toward the left side and foul.
Would I be correct in saying that the only time Mr. Ward has struck out was the first time up last night? Other than that, he's been hitting the ball.
Yeah, he got a strikeout in last night's game to lead off.
That's the only strikeout so far in 3 games.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he's also struggling to stay consistent. He's 0 for his last 8 opportunities in this series. 2-2 count for Nick Ward. As the Otters trying to kick off the 7th inning in the right way. Swung on and missed.
Boy, we should call that every time then.
Make it 6 German American Bank strikeouts for Austin Gossman.
But striking him out is a big strikeout.
Yes, indeed it is.
Brady. Third baseman Ian
And
Walters.
Gossman is staying efficient as well, only at 90 pitches here in the 7th inning. He's been very good. Ian Walters up at the plate now. Thus far in the game, Walters 0 for 2, a fly out to right field and a strikeout. In fact, his fly out to right his last time up was a nice play out there.
Walters has got that one-hand swing where catcher's got to be on the lookout so not get hit in the head with that backswing.
0-1 for Ian Walters. 1 out, no one on. Here in the 7th inning. An 0-1. Zoom towards right field. McNamee having to chase a long way. It drops in for a base hit. McNamee will pick it up and leaves it at a single base.
Unbelievable. Hold him to a single.
McNamee got a beautiful bounce. It must have hit a soggy spot of grass out there because it just stopped. McNamee almost overran.
Yeah, but he hurried to get to that location to get that good hop, or whatever you're saying. I mean, to hold that guy, I mean, he's not in scoring position right now.
It's just
going to take 2 hits to bring him in.
It's just the 3rd base hit of the day for the Wild Things. This one comes with 1 out in the 7th inning. And now the left fielder, Jared Mang, who is the man for Washington so far today. He's reached on both attempts, a single and a hit by pitch. First opportunity of this at-bat, stays low, ball 1. Nobody warming up in either pen, rightfully so. Both starters have been exceptional in this game. Fun to watch.
I'd say if either manager wants to take these pitchers out, he should see a psychiatrist.
I see Augie Gallardo standing up down there in the Otters pen, but it's just his routine stretches that he does at this point of every game. Same with Washington. They've had a couple guys up and down, but it's just routine stretching. A 1-0 to Maine. That one works way outside, ball 2. Otters haven't needed to turn a double play tonight because they haven't let a lot of runners on, but that's been something that has carried them through the last week of games. A 2-0 pitch towards Jared Mang. Stays a bit high, and it's a 3-0 count. Feels like the first one we've seen all day thrown by Austin Gossman.
I was just going to say the same thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, he hasn't walked the batter all day.
I don't believe so, no, actually. He has a hit by pitch, but that's his only free base.
But he hasn't walked the batter, and as you said, that's the first time he's got a 3-0 count.
3-0. Oh, and he doesn't get given a called strike. Instead, it's ball 4. There's runners at first and second.
That was a strike, Mr. Umpire.
And Mang keeps his streak alive. He's now reached all 3 times in this game.
Chris Isay.
I mentioned that the double play ball has been the bread and butter for the Otters here in this stretch. In the last 10 games, Evansville has grounded into 2 double plays. Their opponents have grounded into 16.
16?
The Otters are averaging almost 2 double plays a game defensively.
Wow. I know in this series, that one night, Friday night, 4 double plays was really a big.
4 for the second time this week.
Jeez.
Jacob Bowles starting to throw for the Otters down in the right field pin. Chris Isay at the plate now. 2 strikeouts to his name thus far. First one home here is hit sharply to the right side, but is fouled. Will be played over there by the Otters.
I know you are a hound dog on the Otters defense. You just brag about great defense, whether you're here or Shamburg or Gateway. All you talk about is the great defense the Otters have. You to be complimented.
Rain begins to, or continues to fall, I should say, in the Evansville area. Not too hard right now, and that's why we're still playing. 0-1 the count for Chris Isay. Runners at first and second, and 1 out. The 0-1, and it's grounded off the leg of Isay, and he's down 0-2 in the count.
That'd be nice to get the 7th strikeout here.
You'll take any out that doesn't advance base runners if you're the Otters.
But he's got an 0-2 count.
Still is a breeze, but it is Not blowing too hard out towards left field, but it's changing quite often with the way that the storms are moving around us. 0-2 the count to Chris Issei with a runner at first, with runners at first and second and just one out. An 0-2 thrown by Gossman, and it stays low and outside, ball one.
It looked like he was going to go for it, but he didn't.
Certainly a hard pitch to lay off. Otters could be looking at a couple hours of rain here in the next little bit. Just like normal, it's just been sticking around the area. A 1-2 to Chris Issei. Hit sharply over the head of Armstrong. And there's a base running mistake over there by the runner at second. It won't come back to matter, and it's 3 straight runners on here in the 7th. Huge opportunity for the Wild Things.
Yeah, boy.
And that might
Now
cause
we need the double play.
Might cause a decision up on the mound.
The catcher, 23, Landon Barnes.
And indeed, Max Peterson's going to make a walk out there and have a chat with Gossman. Gossman had been controlling this game very well. Had a 1-out single get on, and then had a tough walk, and then another single has loaded the bases.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. We will not have the kids fly around the bases or autographs due to potential wet field conditions after our game's over.
Gossman meeting with his pitching coach, Max Peterson, who gives him the attaboy as he heads back towards the dugout. Peterson has his middle relief guy, Jacob Bowles, warming out there just in case he's needed.
Another Otters home game. The opportunity to fly around the bases, courtesy of our friends at Brinker's Jewelers.
So Gossman takes to the mound, facing the catcher Landon Barnes, who grounded right back up to Gossman his last time up.
You know, I haven't seen to the pitcher, to the catcher, to the first baseman double play in a long, long time.
First pitch stays low for ball one. And now the rain's starting to pick up a little bit more. Bases loaded, 1 out. Huge chance for Washington in this game.
Oh, we could take a pop-up inning infield, a strikeout.
Gossman readies himself on the 1-0. Hit sharply towards the right side, but it's going to get foul and out of play. That will be enough to even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Landon Barnes, 0 for 1 on the day. He came in relief for Nico Pacheco. Not exactly sure why they made that change, but the change happened.
I'm not either. I mean,
a 1-1 coming home. Just misses to the low inside corner, and it's 2-1.
You know, you said it several times, and I'll agree. Here we are in the 7th inning, and Gossman has been around that plate all day. Now, not too many wild pitches.
2-1 to Landon Barnes. That one just misses on the outside edge, and he's got to find the strike zone now. 3-1 count. He's keeping it close, but he's not been able to get men to chase. Huge pitch for Austin Gossman. The 3-1 to Landon Barnes. On the ground towards Khalil. It's past him. 1 run's going to score. A 2nd run coming home. And Washington's going to take a lead.
They got 3 runs.
A wild throw scores a 3rd run now. And that could be huge.
That is, you're right.
Landon Barnes is going to get himself 2 RBIs on the single, and he'll advance to third on the throwing error out there in the outfield.
Number 1, Cole Brennan.
And just like that, Washington leads by 2.
And that's the end of Grossman.
Austin Gossman will have his day come to an end in a abrupt stop. Tough way to end a great day for him. We'll let you know who's coming in for him right after this on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Well, a pitching change needed here in the top of the 7th as Washington has taken a 3-1 lead. I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Old National Bank, your bank for Evansville, your bank for life. Jacob Bowles, the new man on the mound for the Otters, a man that has given solid performance all year long for Max Peterson and this Otters team, and he's going to need another one here. It's called the Bullpens, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solution. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Cole Brannon at the plate to continue this 7th inning. First pitch to him, he shows bunt, and it's a bunt tip, strike 1. So it's Bowles on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. 0-1 pitch to Brandon. Outside, ball 1 evens the count up. Defense is all playing in, hoping to forego the run scoring on the play. 1-1 pitch coming home towards Brandon. A swinging strike 2 on a low inside. Nobody warming up, at least right now, for the Wild Things, right after they've taken the lead. Stepping back in is the center fielder Cole Brannon, looking at a 1-2 count with 1 out and a runner on third. Kind of felt like we could have seen the only run of the game back there in the 4th, and the opportunity presented itself for the Wild Things, and they took it. The 1-2 to Brandon. Lifted out towards center field. Gordon will chase back towards it and bring it in for out number 2. The run will score easily on the sacrifice fly. And make it a 3-run advantage now. And that error that occurred by Gordon throwing it in has now come back to hunt the Otters for another run. Wild Things 4, Otters 1. As we continue in the 7th inning, 2 outs, bases empty for Scotty DeBrule. First pitch to DeBrule, the at-bat is a called strike, called strike one on the outside corner. DeBrule in the game, 1 for 3, 2 groundouts to the second baseman and a single in the 6th. The 0-1. Swinging strike 2, foul tipped it into the glove of Felix on the high outside corner. Looks like some movement starting to take place for the Wild Things out there in their pen. The 0-2. Swinging strike 3, and that's how the top of the 7th will end, but not before 4 runs score for Washington. That could be enough to finish this one off. We'll see what the Otters can do offensively right after this on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. And we move in now to the bottom of the 7th inning here. And it looks like they might be calling for some new dirt to be put out there on the pitcher's mound. The man up there, by the way, is Darren Osby, continuing to go for these Wild Things. I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Bud Light. This Bud's for you. Out comes the general manager of the Otters, Travis Painter, and he'll give a quick sweep of all of the dirt up there on the mound to try to make things a little simpler for the pitcher Darren Osby, who has been exceptional in this game.
Travis Painter, the August 14th general manager in baseball.
Otters have to get something going, and it's best that they start sooner rather than later. In the half inning, Sinsley, McNamee, Khalil due up. They now trail by 3.
First baseman, number 21.
They've only scored 1 run in their last 17 innings offensively, the Otters have. For the time being, the rain has subdued here in Evansville. First pitch for Sinsley. Inside, ball 1. Sinsley on the day, 0 for 2, but his fielder's choice in the 4th brought in the Otters' only run. A 1-0 now for Steven Sinsley. Cranked out towards right field. LaGrange racing back towards the track and brings it in for out number 1. Long run for him out there in right field. Otters finally get some hard hit baseballs, and they can't go far enough here at Bosse Field.
Right fielder, number 9, Elijah McNamee.
So that brings up the Mississippi State man, Elijah McNamee, who's 0 for 2 in the game. The fielder's choice and a strikeout to his name. The first pitch to McNamee. A half swing on the low outside corner. He's able to let it go by for ball one. Darren Osby kicks and delivers on the 1-0. It's sent sharply to the left side. Played on one hop by Walters. The throw to first in plenty of time for out number 2. This is where Washington gets dangerous, gets themselves a lead, and then settles in beautifully, both defensively and on the mound. Shortstop George Khalil makes his way to the plate now. Had a leadoff double his last time up and was left on second. 3 straight outs while he stood out there. Beautiful chance for the Otters to have grabbed some insurance. The first offering to George Khalil is on the way home, and it's ball one on the outside. One ball, no strikes for George Khalil. And here comes his next offering. It's again low and outside, and again a ball, this time for number 2. A 2-0, almost right down the middle, is a called strike, and now Khalil will have to begin to get a little defensive. Still ahead in the count, though, 2-1. Two-one for Khalil. He lifts it high and mid-deep to right center field. Brannon calls everybody off out there and brings it in for out number 3. We've played 7 full innings from Bosse Field. Evansville trails 4-1. To the top of the 8th inning we go here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Evansville trails 4-1 after giving up 4 runs in the top of the 7th. It chased Austin Gossman from the game. We do want to walk you through Gossman's final line in this one. He gives up 4 runs, just 2 of them earned on 5 hits and 6 in the 3rd innings. A great day on the mound for him. He threw 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk, but when it started to rain on him, it started to pour on him, and unfortunately, he's not able to go any further in this one. Jacob Bowles stays in the game to see out the considerable future for the Otters. First pitch home. It's a called strike on the outside edge to Wagner Lagrange. Lagrange is 0 for 3, reaching on an error in the 6th, then having a ground out and a strikeout earlier. The 0-1 lifted out towards center field. Gordon will chase back a few steps now, in a few steps, and it ends up right where he started for out number 1.
First baseman, 28, Andrew Check.
Andrew Check at the plate now, 0 for 3 2 ground outs to the second baseman and a fly out to left. Comes after he's been fairly consistent in this series in the first 2 games. First pitch home. And Check will take it for a called strike 1. A little bit of a wait for Bowles as he climbs back up on the bump. Looking at an 0-1 count towards Check at home. The 0-1 stays inside and the count's evened up. Bowles just looking for a couple of quick outs to get his Otters offense back to the plate. The 1-1. Check zooms it to the left side through for a base hit. They now have 6 of them on the day. That's Check's first base hit. And now there's just 2 individuals left on Washington's squad who have not reached base safely.
Nick Ward.
One of them, Nick Ward, the DH who steps up now. Ward started off the weekend 2 for 2 and since then has gone 0 for 10. Ward entered the series as one of the elites in batting average in the entire Frontier League. He's staying up there. First pitch he sees is a called strike on the outside edge. Nice pitch there from Bowles to kind of bring it in that back door. Defense playing at double play positioning. They have not turned a double play yet tonight. After that was kind of their saving grace the last few games. First pitch over is not in time as it back was Andrew Check diving back in towards first. Bulls ready on the 0-1. It goes just a bit too far outside, however. The count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, make sure you tune in on Wednesday nights here on Flow Sports, as you'll be able to check out the Frontier League All-Star Game as called by Kyle Dawson there from Washington and a whole host of other broadcasters, I'm sure, from around the league. I wish you all the best. I'm sad I can't join you guys in Washington. And I hope you make the whole league proud on a huge opportunity to showcase some great talent. A couple of Otters are going to make appearances. Logan Sawyer, Zach Bierman, Dakota Phillips hopefully will still make the appearance even though he can't play, as well as Austin Gossman. 1-2 is skied out towards right center field, down for a base hit. Running over is Gordon. He'll pick it up, and there's runners on the corners after Nick Ward is finally able to get himself a base hit. And a little bit of deja vu from last half inning. Quickly, runners on the corners. It's now 3 straight innings that this Washington team has immediately put 2 guys on after the first out. Because of it, Augie Gallardo starting to warm for the Otters out in left field. Bowles digs in up on the bump. Runners on first and third around him with 1 out. First pitch home. Again, a first pitch strike on the outside. Well, Gallardo went and started to get ready to warm up. Hasn't actually started quite yet. Now he begins to throw with bullpen catcher Brody Tanksley. My bad, Brody. An 0-1 is fouled over towards the netting on the left side, and falling behind 0-2 in the count is Ian Walters. Walters, the third baseman, batting just under 300 innings a game at 299. He's got 39 RBIs to his record thus far this year. He could make it another here. The 0-2 bounces in for ball 1. A good stop by Felix to keep it close. because of it, there's runners at first and third with just one out, and now a 1-2 count to Ian Walters. A throw over to first is not in time, as back safely was Nick Ward. First pitch stays just a hair outside now. That evens the count at 2-2. The 2-2. And there's going to be a throw out to second. Is it in time? No, it gets past everyone, and a run's going to score. Got past Khalil, then got past the diving Andy Armstrong, and because of it, the runner Nick Ward's going to make it all the way to third. And a run scores for some insurance there for Washington. Now a 5-1 ball game.
Third baseman, 18, Ian Walters.
Otters have seen their perfect opportunity in this game now suddenly taken away from them. We're ahead, had a couple of chances to grab some insurance. They could not. Then a big inning for Washington stole the game away. Infield playing way in on the 3-2 to Walters. The 3-2. Swinging strike three on the outside edge. And Walters will sit down via the strikeout for the second time today. It's the second German American Bank strikeout from Jacob Bowles.
German American Bank strikeout. Left fielder.
So with 2 outs and a runner on third, Jared Mang back to the plate. He's reached all 3 times. A walk, a hit by pitch, and a single. First pitch to Mang. Called strike one. Really right down the middle. Runner at third is Nick Ward, who tried to steal second because of a ball that got all the way into the outfield. He made it all the way to third. The 0-1, swinging strike two. Runner at third. 2 outs and an 0-2 count to Jared Mang. Jacob Bowles really looking for some damage limitation, and he'll step off before the big pitch. This is the last time these two squads face until the 19th of August. They'll face for a 3-game weekend series there in Washington, and then they'll face one final time at Washington at the end of August. And I very well believe that those 6 games could be a giant deciding factor in who's going to win the West Division. The Otters can go on the road and win one or both of those series. It could put them in a great place depending on where they're at in mid to late August. Of course, a lot of baseball to play till then. The 1-2 to Maine just misses on the high edge. The count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Augie Gallardo's warm-ups have slowed considerably out there in the right field pen. Bowles ready to go on a 2-2 pitch with 2 outs and a runner on third. The 2-2 just barely fouled back into the netting, went off the handle of the bat on the hefty swing from Mang. Otters will have this midweek off, except for the ones, of course, heading towards the All-Star game. Then they are at Sussex County this weekend. The 2-2 zoomed out towards center field. Long run in for Gordon. It falls for an RBI base hit. Jared Mang extends the lead once more. And it's now 6-1 in favor of the Wild Things.
Shortstop, 33, Chris Isay.
Well, this is what sets a great team aside from a good team. Putting together lots of base hits back-to-back and scoring on the opportunities. That's what's given Washington their win last night, and at least right now, the solid lead in this one. First pitch to Isay. The runner goes out towards second. A good throw, but it's out of the glove of Khalil for a stolen base. Runner at second, 2 outs, and a 1-0 count to Chris Isay. Jacob Bulls trying to find anything that could get him out of this half inning. Long wait on the mound for Bulls. Now he's ready to go on the 1-0 to Isay. But it misses the bottom of the zone. Stayed underneath the knees for ball 2. Still is raining here in Evansville. Not as hard as we've seen at some points of the evening, but hard enough to keep people a little bit worried. And now, as I look out there again, it's starting to come down the hardest I've seen. 2-0s inside for ball 3. Could be because it's getting darker, but we're starting to see a lot more coming down in some of the areas out there. Three balls, no strikes for Chris Isay. Runner at second and 2 outs. And it's a called strike on the high outside corner that keeps Bulls alive in the count. Tough stretch for Washington out of the All-Star break. They've got to go face the Eagles at Trois-Rivières, then at Ottawa for hosting the Quebec Capitals. A 3-1. Called strike 2 has sent the count full. We could see the Otters really take advantage of this opportunity in a week's time. If they can go on the road and get a couple of wins at Sussex County, but more importantly, win some games against New York and Tri-City here, it would give the Otters a chance to hop over Washington if they struggle in the Canadian road trip. A 3-2 is sent foul. And we'll have to wait for another payoff pitch. Washington's a very good squad, though, and could have a lot of success in this Washington or this north of the border road trip. It just kind of depends on the team. It depends on who you've got on your squad that could go, who has visa issues, who has vaccination issues, who has passport issues. You just never know. It could dramatically change the team that you're taking with. A 3-2 for Isay. Swinging strike 3 ends this one, but not before the Wild Things are able to add 2 more runs of insurance. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Washington leads by 5.
Time to go hopping in the rain with the Ellis Park Pony Races. Micah, Colton, Allison are going to grab their horses and hop on down in the Southwest Rapids Automobiles, the fastest that's going to win. Celebrate the
We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Otters running out of offensive opportunities. They've allowed a couple of insurance runs that have not made their lives easier. It's going to be Felix Armstrong and Gordon trying to start the comeback attempt as the rain continues to fall a little bit harder here in Evansville. Felix on the day, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop-out. Otters have had their last 9 men retired in order. Now have had 4 separate 3-up, 3-down innings. First pitch to Felix. Swinging strike 1. He was way out in front of that off speed. Count goes to 0-1. Felix lines one down into the left field corner, down for a base hit. He's rounding first. He's going towards second. The throw is offline, and he's got himself a leadoff double. Good way to start something here in the 8th inning. That will bring up Andy Armstrong, the second baseman. Also 0 for 2. They strike out and a fly out to right. First pitch to Andy Armstrong. Inside for a called strike. Again, after Armstrong, Miles Gordon on deck. The 0-1 to Andy Armstrong. And it's a called strike 2. He's going to have to defend now. Justin Felix led off with a hard hit double down the left field line. Of course, it's been an exceptional day for Darren Osby on the mound for Washington as he continues to go strong. The 0-2 to Armstrong. Sent bouncing to the left side. Played on 2 hops by Walters. The throw to first will retire Andy Armstrong. And that is the 100th pitch from Darren Osby on the day. In that time, he has given up just 1 run. It was unearned on 4 hits and 7 in the 3rd innings. He struck out 7, walked 0. Miles Gordon, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, ready at the plate now. He is 0 for 3. First pitch home to Gordon. Stays low and outside, ball 1. (6-1) this game in favor of the Wild Things. All 6 runs coming in their last 2 innings. The 1-0, and it's fouled off the leg of Gordon to even his count up at 1 ball, 1 strike. And this is the front we were worried about all evening long. It is a wide one, too. It is just getting to Evansville, and it's going to be here for a bit. One ball, 1 strike to Miles Gordon. And he's able to take a ball 2 a bit high. There is a man warming up for the Wild Things out in their bullpen and left. Hard to tell exactly who it could be out there. Time's going to be called by Barnes behind the plate to go chat about signs quickly. The count goes to 2-1 for the center fielder, Miles Gordon, trying to keep the Otters alive. They've got a runner at second and 1 out. The rain really starting to come down now. The 2-1 to Miles Gordon. Pushed out to the left side, foul. It's going to get out of play, it looks like. Yes, indeed it will.
A red foul ball brought to you by Heads Construction.
Well, unfortunately, we won't get to talk to you for a few days. Otters next in action on Friday night at Sussex County. There in northern New Jersey. First pitch from there is scheduled for a 6:05 Central Time. First pitch, 7:05 there in Sussex County. You can catch the game for free, audio only, right here on the Otters Digital Network. I'll walk you through every pitch of the road trip. 3 games there and then 6 games back here at home against New York Boulders and Tri-City Valley Cats. Gordon's going to call time as the count evens up at 2-2. 1 out, runner at second. The 2-2. That stays low. The count is now full. Wouldn't be surprised if the ball's starting to get just a little bit slick. It seems like every pitch, we see both pitchers trying to clean off both the cleats and the hands. 3-2 count for Miles Gordon. 1 out, 1 on. Otters trail by 5.5 to get some runs quickly if they want to get back in this one. The 3-2. Zoom to the right side. Going to be a tough play. It's picked up by the second baseman, DeBrule, but there was no one ready to play first. And it's a hard-earned single from Miles Gordon. Puts runners at first and third now with just 1 out. J.R. Davis will make his way to the plate.
Third baseman.
A big RBI chance.
J.R. Davis.
A little bit of a wait here. As we prep for the first pitch to J.R. Davis. Otters have runners on the corners with 1 out, and J.R. Davis, probably the best RBI man this week, or the last 2 weeks for the Otters at the plate. First pitch home. Pushed out to the right side and foul. Chasing after it is Check. In foul territory, and he brings it in for out number 2. So the Otters have a out that doesn't help them too much. And now there are runners at first and third with 2 outs.
45, Zach Bierman.
Zach Bierman now makes his way to the plate. Bierman trying to be the man to help bring this one a little closer. Even if he was able to break his home run stretch here in the rain, it'd be miraculous if he could do it. Even if he was to do it, though, the Otters would still trail by a pair. First pitch home to Zach Bierman. And it's a check swing. They go out and check, and they say, no, he did not go, so it is ball 1. A week from Tuesday, the Otters return here to historic Bosse Field. Love to see you out here. Get your tickets at EvansvilleOtters.com as they welcome the New York Boulders to town. First and only time they'll play the Boulders this year, and then during the weekend series, they'll face the Tri-City Valley Cats for the first and only time this year. The 1-0 to Bierman. Crank down the right field line. Is it going to be fair? Yes, it is. 1 run's going to score. There goes Bierman towards second. Rounding third is Gordon. He's going to score. Bierman's heading towards third. The throw at third, and they got him on the way there. It's a 2-run double for Zach Bierman. The Otters get within 3 as we head to the 9th inning. 6-3, the score now in favor of Washington as we head to the 9th. To the top of the 9th we go, and a new pitcher needed for the Otters. Augie Gallardo will come in out of the pen to try to keep things where we're at. This part of the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Heavy rain in the area as we start the 9th inning here. Landon Barnes, first one up, takes a called strike one on the outside edge. His last time up, a 2-run double that gave the Wild Things their lead. They go right there. The All-Star break this week, and then Sussex County next week for the Otters before coming home to face a couple other East Division teams. Swinging strike has Barnes ahead 0-2 in the count. Looks like Lucas Young starting to warm up for the Wild Things out there in left field. An 0-2 stays just a bit outside. The count goes to 1-2. Like I mentioned, for the Wild Things, after the All-Star break, they head north of the border to face the Trois-Rivières Eagles before facing off with Ottawa for 3 there north of the border as well. The 1-2, swinging, strike 3, and Augie Gallardo kicks the inning off. The German-American made strikeout.
Going back to the top of the order, center fielder 1, Cole Brannon.
So that takes us to the top of the order where Cole Brannon will head to the plate. 0 for 3. His 4th attempt was a sac fly RBI that was, at the time, just an insurance run. Otters trail by 3 here in the top of the 9th inning. Trying to keep it that way is Augie Gallardo on the mound. It's a first pitch foul off to the right side to kick it off for Brannon. The closer for Washington, Lucas Young, is warming up. He is currently 3rd in the league with 11 saves. Big off speed falls in for a called strike 2 by Augie Gallardo. Gallardo ready to go on an 0-2. Defense playing straight up. Brandon lets it go by for ball one way outside. Pretty easy take for him. Nobody on. One out here in the top of the ninth inning. Augie Gallardo looking for a second straight German-American Bank strikeout to help finish off this ninth inning. Pitch comes high and in for ball two, and the count evens up. Two now for the center fielder, Cole Brannon, looking for his first opportunity on base today. It's lifted up towards left field. Baez will chase in a few steps, but it's actually Khalil who just steps back and makes the easy catch for out number two. And now the second baseman, Scotty DeBrule, makes his way to the plate. DeBrule's got himself a
Second
1 for 4
baseman,
day, a single in the sixth, where he ended up being stranded at third and then struck out at the seventh as a part of the big inning for Washington. And back that out there in the seventh, ended that big inning for Washington. It was a big out to get for Jacob Bowles. First pitch comes home for ball one, high and outside. Augie Gallardo has started to become a much more permanent part of this team for Evansville. He's appeared in 3 of the last 4 games now. Pitch catches the outside edge to even the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Gallardo's going to step off, recoup through the signs, and kind of reset everything. The 1-1. Weekly sent into the netting behind home plate. As the count now falls to 1-2. Rain does continue to fall, but looks like we should be able to at least conclude this ball game. One to the count for Scotty DeBrule. And it just misses on the high outside corner. Count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Gallardo's going to try again, this time on the 2-2 before he steps off and resets. We try again on the 2-2. Sent sharply towards Sinsley at first. He'll play it backhanded, step on first, and that's how the ninth, at least the top half, ends. Here it goes. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Otters have 3 outs left to try to win this one. They trail by 3 and need at least that many to keep the game going. The conclusion of this one comes at you next on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. To the bottom of the ninth we go. Otters down to their last chance, and they're going to face one of the best closers in this league, Lucas Young, who comes in out of the bullpen for the Washington Wild Things. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Young on the mound, Barnes behind the plate. Pitcher Catch a Battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. First pitch to Baez, sent out towards right field. And is it going to fall in? It does fall into the glove of Lagrange out there in right for out number one. Lagrange kind of slipped out there on the mud or whatever, and because of it, almost misplayed the ball.
21, Steven Sinsley.
Steven Sinsley now makes his way to the plate. 0 for 3 on the day. Otters need 3 runs, and they're down to their last 2 outs. Have to find something quickly. First pitch home to Sinsley. Low and inside for ball 1. Looks like the staff is ready to get the tarp on the field as soon as this one ends, just to keep as much off as possible as big system starts to move through. The 1-0 stays up high, and since he's ahead of the count 2-0. Sinsley and McNamee, the 2 for sure, still due up in this inning. The 2-0 to Sinsley. Swinging strike 1, big swing. If Young can earn this save, he'll be tied for the second most in the league. The 2-1 towards Steven Sinsley. Stays low and inside for ball 3. Rain continues to fall heavily here at historic Bosse Field. Everyone trying to get this one finished up. 3-1 the count to the first baseman, Steven Sinsley, with 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 9th inning. The 3-1. Called strike 2 on the high inside corner. Sinsley's got a full count in front of him. Sinsley wipes off his face as he steps back in. Full counts, headed home. Sent sharply to the right side, right at the first baseman check. He'll toss over to the pitcher Young, who will step on first for out number 2. The Otters are down to their last opportunity. Right fielder Elijah McNamee makes his way to the plate.
Right fielder number 9.
He's 0 for 3 on the day. Two outs, nobody on, bottom of the 9th. McNamee trying to be the one now that kicks off the Otters comeback. First pitch home is a called strike 1. McNamee has a strikeout, a fielder's choice, and a ground out so far on the day. Takes another pitch. This one for ball 1. The 0-1 falls outside. Sorry, it's actually 2-1. McNamee finds himself a little bit ahead in the count. If McNamee can find his way on, George Galil lays in wait. The on-deck circle. The 2-1. Push towards the right side. Chasing in his check. He'll pick it up. The throw over to first in time. And the Wild Things are going to win this one and win the series. A huge couple of wins for the Wild Things. And with them, Washington is going to keep their lead atop the West Division. They'll lead by 2 full games as we head to the Frontier League's All-Star break. It's the biggest the Otters have trailed in this division since the beginning of June. So they'll have to come out of the All-Star break ready to get back on top of things and work their way back into it. We'll keep things right here as we run through our final broadcast here on both the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports prior to the conclusion of the All-Star break. Don't forget that the All-Star break lasts all week long. You can catch the All-Star game on Wednesday night on Flow Sports. Game opened with the Otters scoring the first run of the game in the 4th inning, but that one run did not last them as long as they might have liked. They scored on a Steven Sinsley RBI fielder's choice. From there on out, though, it took all the way to the 7th inning for Washington to finally state their case for the first time, and they went on a little bit of a roll. Landon Barnes had a 2-run single that brought in the first 2 runs. Another run scored on the error from the center fielder Miles Gordon trying to throw it back in. And then once more, a run scored on a sac fly RBI to give them a 4-1 advantage. They added 2 more insurance runs in the 8th, one on an RBI single from Jared Ming, the next on an error by the catcher Justin Felix. All the Wild Things end up winning this one 6-3 as the Otters were able to grab a couple of, well, at this point, useless runs in the 8th on a huge 2-run double from Zach Bierman. He tried to extend it to third but could not, and because of that, that's where the inning ended, and the little run for the Otters ended, and they fall in this one 6-3. The win goes to Darren Osby, who was incredible in this ballgame. He was fun to watch all the way through. In fact, Osby is going to close out the evening with a official line of 3 runs allowed, only 2 earned on 6 hits in 8 full innings. He walked nobody, struck out 7, and of the 112 pitches he threw, 70 of them were strikes. He was very good. The loss is going to fall on Austin Gossman, an unfortunate loss, as he pitched a very good game, but he gave up 4 runs, 2 of them earned on 5 hits and 6 in a 3rd inning. Walked 1, struck out 6, and of his 104 pitches, 68 were strikes. I was impressed with that. And the save is going to go to Lucas Young, his 12th of the season. That ties Adams in Quebec for the 2nd most in the Frontier League, all behind Logan Sawyer, who's got 14. These 2 teams will face off 2 more times this year. Both of them will be at Washington, a weekend series over the 19th, 20th, and 21st of August, and then finally the second to final series for both teams, the 30th, 31st, and September 1st, near the end of the season, the final midweek series for both teams. Of course, all 6 of those games taking place at Washington. Wild Things get the best of both of the final 2 games of this series in order to take the series and take a 2-game lead into the All-Star break of the West Division. We mentioned a little bit earlier that this was really the only game that was going to be finishing up here on this evening due to a couple games already being finished and a couple being rain delayed. Quebec defeats Ottawa 6-5 in 10 innings earlier today. Trois-Rivières defeats Empire State 22-4. Florence is beating Joliet 4-1 right now. They are suspended in the bottom of the 3rd. They will continue that game in a couple of weeks as a part of a doubleheader. New Jersey defeats Tri-City 7-6 to close out their series. Lake Erie defeats Windy City 3-1. And Schaumburg and Gateway never got started. They're from GCS Credit Union Ballpark in Sauget. That is going to be made up as part of a doubleheader when the teams face in a few weeks. Bill McEwen is the one who joined me for most of this evening's game. I'm Matthew Will. And for all of us here at the Evansville Otters, saying so long and enjoy your All-Star break. I'll talk to you on Friday nights on the Otters Digital Network as the Otters head to Sussex County to kick off the unofficial second half of the season. We'll talk to you Friday nights and enjoy your week.